Check one, check two. How's everybody doing on Super Bowl Sunday? Let me check my stream health to see how I'm doing. Okay, let me get it set up. I just came off of another live stream. I got to do better. So, once again, it's Super Bowl Sunday. So, I'm just getting my stream going on. Let me get, I guess I should have that already set up. So usually we just start off by going over what I went over, a couple videos I did during the week, giving people time to file in. What's up? Glad y'all could join me. I just got off another live stream, so trying to get it together. Um, so it usually just talk about the videos I did during the week to give people. What's up, Miss Nash? What's up, B LLC? How can I reach out to you directly? I'll put my email in the chat and you can reach out to me. Let's see. I gotta get back to some people, but it's in the chat. JM, I know I owe you some slides. I'm so far behind. You still on my list. So I'm trying to make it. Shout out to JM. React SpaceX lost. I saw that. I'm sure they're insured though. I'm sure they got them insured, but that still sucks. Though. Shout out to Sparks. Glad to join me. Shout out to Sparks. He always checking out my videos. I appreciate that. That's my if you need to reach out to me, yep, that's my email. So let's be sharing my screen. We just talk about a couple videos I did to the week, then we'll jump on DevOps. And from a security perspective, why would we talk about DevOps? We'll go over there too. So last week I did this AWS Control Tower GRC. AWS Control Tower is basically how AWS sets up a well-architected setup, and they give you the DevOps, the multi-account, the GRC. They give you all that when you do Control Tower, so it sets up on a well-architected AWS setup. So I did let's see who's in the chat. What's up, NC worker? Nothing about being a moderator. You good. Thanks for joining us, NC worker. So I did a video on the Super Bowl from a cybersecurity perspective. I don't think people realize that there's 40 government agencies involved to secure from a physical standpoint the Super Bowl. When you walk in Super Bowl, once again, from a cybersecurity perspective, they have facial recognition. So if you got a warrant or anything, especially if you're a high value warrant target, you will not get into the Super Bowl, right? They have a no-fly drone zone, so they actually got hawks and other drones catching drones because you can actually put a bomb on a drone or gasoline in the drone, right? So there was a lot of things about the cybersecurity perspective. Department of Homeland Security ranks events. The Super Bowl is ranked. They call it a Tier 1, meaning, of course, national people want to attack it or embarrass us in front of the whole world. So I just did a. Oh yeah, is that a statement, JM? Yes, the Department of Homeland Security. They're 500 deep, is what they said. If you go look at DHS Homeland, they've actually been working on it for a year. They got 500 agents that on the ground that are armed in the crowd, and there's still probably 2,000. The FBI's there, Homeland, ICE is there, local police is there. Yeah, they're definitely there, deep. So yeah, the United States don't want to be embarrassed at the Super Bowl. That's why, dude. Prop flag. I appreciate it. Yeah, statement. Yeah, Department. Yeah, so I did that video. It's like, and I usually like doing that because what's up, Helmet? To Wealth Talk. Glad you could join me. Especially a lot of that. We should take the break. No, I enjoy this, man. Two is I'm studying for my AWS certification, so I actually enjoy doing that, to be honest. So and two is cybersecurity doesn't give a lot of love to physical security. Physical security, when you're talking about a cybersecurity program, it's part of cyber. So doing that kind of, was mostly physical work. Shout out to Third. I can't go to the Super Bowl. I might recognize my face. I got warned for not paying child support. You will get it. Yeah, Super Bowl don't play with facial recognition, and they tell you on the website, so they don't want you to get there. So, like I said, there's a lot of agencies. The Air Force actually said they were practicing if a prop plane gets lost, they're gonna push it to the ground and shoot it out. If you get in a certain radius, so the Air Force got two jets just circling the United States. Both of them can get there in under 10 minutes. So if they see a prop plane coming that way, you will not make it. you will be, as they say, deleted. The Air Force will delete you out the sky. So yeah, so it's like I said, it's 40 agencies. Go check it out. I did a video, like I said, the physical part. So you are quite safe when you go to Super Bowl. Now you might get arrested on some other stuff, but you are quite safe from a technology like facial recognition. The Air Force got planes, ice on the ground. There's Homeland Security. I did a video where I was surprised. I pulled up the the raw plans of SoFi. They show you where the 4 columns at. That if anything happened to these columns, the whole stadium will collapse. You will not be able to get to those columns. I promise you. So shout out to the agencies, putting in work. Let's see, agency. Wow. Professor, once again, shout out. I appreciate it. Super Bowl is now an event. Oh, without a yeah, super advanced tech. And two is you got facial recognition walking. They actually have part of the facial recognition is they look at the crowd in the facial recognition. So if the cloud is going one way and you running away, crying through the crowd, you will get descended on because the facial recognition is not like we recognize that person is going the wrong way and he's got a despair on his look. So they're gonna start sending agents your way. So it's not facial recognition. They're looking at the what are you crying? Are you smiling? Right. So they got more than just facial recognition. They doing crowd control, right? Which way the crowd should be going at what time. So yeah, it's doing a ton of stuff. Engineering cannabis. So yeah, I'll control deleted facts. So who you got, bro? I got the Bengals. I heard the Super Bowl gonna be lit. Oh yeah, I'm interested because it's your February 3rd. Those are all old people. It's probably except Kendrick, Mary old, Snoop old, hell, Dre old, Eminem old. The only person on there young. Third war is Kendrick. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that's gonna go. Mary be dancing like her knees hurt, man. But shout out to the old people doing the Super Bowl. My favorite troll and person, Snuggles, is in the building. So favorite stuff. And fact, Snuggles in the building. You drunk so I crazy. You got quack. You drunk at the Super Bowl, you will be picked up. Your facial recognition can show he's not acting right. Go see what's wrong with that dude. So yeah, all that's in there. Some things used to be boring now. Game going. All facts. It always goes mainstream and it turns around. And two is what you got to remember, Helmet. These tickets are super expensive. Mostly old people in the building. The average young person ain't got that type of money. Helmet. Everybody in there old, man. They probably were the man with Snoop Dogg was killing it, man. So that's where everybody there old. It looks like when I start facts. So everybody in there. Oh, and I did this. Tesla came out and said the Tesla bot was their number one thing on their plate next year and this year. Not the car, not the truck, not the semi, not the BrainLink. He said the Tesla bot. So I talked about if you remember iRobot from Sunny, of course, the Terminator. From that, how could you hack the Tesla bot and how the Tesla bot could cause you a problem? Because you got to remember, the Tesla bot can move. I could steal the TV and have the Tesla bot walk it out to my car. I have to break in the house. the Tesla bot can unlock the door and bring the TV to me. So go check that one out. I did that because I was surprised Elon Musk said that Tesla bot was the #1 priority. I appreciate the super chat. Let the rest of YouTube partner yourself cauliflower. I do need to eat better, but they won't be cauliflower wings, I promise you. But good looking out for me. I'm trying to make a better move in 2022, but I'm failing, so I'm taking baby steps. More vegetable though. I ate a salad this morning before I go eat all these wings, so I'm getting a little better. So yeah, go check out those videos if you're interested in them. So a couple ones I did this week. So it's so we talking about DevOps in this. So AWS Control Tower is the mechanisms that actually compiles a well-architected setup, and part of that is DevOps, which stands for the developer operations. That's programming and getting that out. And so from a cybersecurity perspective, right, how do we handle it, right? And straight off the bat, I put out, why would we have, if you remember SolarWinds, that's actually what got the Colonial Pipeline hack. So what happened to SolarWinds? Let's look, the first happened in particular case, malicious code were inserted somewhere in the build process that SolarWinds had with Orion products. Keep in mind, more has unfolded, then the general story remained the same. In addition, a few benign looking lines of code into a single DLL file spelled a serious threat to organizations using effective product. A widely used IT administration software across verticals. The discrete malicious code inserted in the DLL, called it a backdoor compromise for almost 4,000 lines of code, and allowed a threat actor behind to attack operated unfettered. So those couple lines of code in the development process caused like 200 or 300 companies to get hacked by a foreign nation, right? So we're going to dig into it and we're going to delve into it, right? So the coding process, how you build code and push it out to production, wasn't secure. So their code got corrupted. And what happened was that code got used by a lot of government agencies, right? So they got them hacked. So it's called a software supply chain attack. It's on the rise. They said we documented 430% increase in software supply chain hacks. In a normal breach pattern time, vulnerability disclosures in a breach about 3 days when it comes to open source packages. This is when a vulnerability is discovered. So they usually discover real quick in those packages. In this case, the adversary are injecting malicious code in containers or open source packages. These packages can occur as soon as the code is deployed in production and into your customer environment. Adversaries know what malicious code or backdoor is and can spot the malicious code being distributed and then initiated their attack, right? So that's kind of it at a high level. The sophisticated actors stuck the DLL in SolarWinds code. The users deployed it inside their organization. The malicious DLL calls out commands to the payload. And since that software was used by a lot of big government agencies, that DLL got compromised and all of those government agencies got compromised, right? So that actually is a supply chain attack, right? So what makes a supply chain attack is everybody uses Microsoft. So if Microsoft Word got hacked and you're using it on your PC, right, that's a supply chain attack. The supply chain is Microsoft. If Microsoft Word ever got breached, right, then everybody gets, their stuff broken into and all their data stolen. So that's kind of why we're going to talk about the development pipeline. A lot of people don't really talk about that. Shout out to Third Ward Snuggles. Do you think combat bots will have a self-destructive capabilities for combat? So when you talk about combat, are you talking about boots on the ground as part of cybersecurity taking over tanks? Or are you just talking about reconnaissance? Yeah, because if you currently look at Russia and Ukraine, Russia's just shut down the Ukraine, shut down their whole country with a cyber attack. They're at the border. They haven't sent boots on the ground. They've just been cyber attacking them, right? And that's the thing I don't think a lot of realize. The United States is under cyber attack right now. We're actually cyber attacking the people, right? Those are the jabs, right? The question is, what are you going to do before you put boots on the ground, right? So both of those, I think if you do, you always see them James Bond. If you do the pulse, you can knock all the electricity out, right? I can shut down your power grid for your country, right? So yeah, they have those compact bots out them. We got them. We just got them. We haven't used them yet, but if we need to, we can shut down a country's power grid. We can cut off their water. So, because the weird thing is, the sad part is, we can make their nuclear power plants go off, right? Because all that stuff is hooked to the internet unnecessarily. Hell, so yeah, we can do all that. So, anything to do with a VPN? No, I mean they're nice, but if you Google VPN, all the VPNs been hacked. So we got red team tools that can get past the VPN, right? So similar to SQL injection. Oh yeah, that's one of the attacks we're gonna do, right? So if you're a nuclear power plant and we need some codes of the password, we probably do SQL injection and tell you to pull those passwords out of your thing. So that's in our arsenal as one of the attacks we would use at a nation state level, right? So this is old school. If you ever developed software, right? So we're talking about sticking code, malicious code into a software development process, right? So this is the old school waterfall method. This is what I did in the 2005s to probably 2010s, right? When I used to do Oracle, PL SQL, Java, right? We still doing the waterfall. It's a SQL model that divides software development up into predefined phases. Each phase must be completed before the next one can begin with non-overlap. Each phase is designed for performing a specific activity in the SDLC, that system development lifecycle. It was developed in the 1970s, right? So real quick, requirements: system design, implementation, system testing, system deployment, and system maintenance, right? Each one has to be finished before you finish. Then when you get new requirements, you will go. So it would probably take you a year before you got anything developed and delivered to the customer, right? That takes too long and there's too many bugs in it, right? So so that's why they kind of got rid of it. And this is the stage: requirements gathering, design stage, build stage, test stage, deployment stage, and maintenance stage. So I actually used to do this for the Department of Defense by hand, right? So the developers used to check it all in. It used to be called a Oracle case tool. Then I used to check, part of that's checking the code out, requirements in there. And I used to have to generate out all the code into a big database, compile it. Then I took all they call forms and reports in Oracle. I had to compress those up and push those out to individual clients. That was client server. So you had to push out these little bitty clients to like 300 users across the United States, right? So we should do that, right? By hand, kind of buggy. Big teams, though. We were using huge teams. So, advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of it: before the next phase is complete, each phase must be completed. Disadvantage: error can be fixed only during that phase. Suited for smaller projects with requirements. It is not desirable for complex projects where requirements change frequency. So right, so we got some new stuff out there. So then we went to Agile. That's the hot new thing. Development is delivery approach that relates to learning manufacturing. The fundamentals of Agile center around creating a working prototype of or build amidst the realities of changing needs and requirements. So let's read that again. You creating a working prototype or build amidst the realities of changing needs and requirements, right? So requirements change, right? In the old way, you used to have to wait till you get finished. With Agile, your bytes are so small, you can keep up with the changes you need to make, right? There's an Agile philosophy and focus and an Agile scope, right? So that's the newest thing, and that's what DevOps do, right? So that's the Agile philosophy. Initiate a project, integrated test, continuous visibility, development cycle review, feedback. Is it approved? Send it to market if no. Record or incorporate changes, adjust the track, and next, right? So it's small and it's real quick, so you can keep making those changes and get them out to the customer, right? So that's it in the process. You got the code part, then the operations is when you stick it in production. What will you be covering about Google 2.0 stock? Shout out that I need to get my stock game back up. Like a hair run, sparks, snuggles. Is that attack some sort of fileless malware, Professor? It can be, or a lot of times it's actually just malware they snuck in a system and it's so small um, that you can't detect it. Or a lot of times too is you split the malware up. It's called Swiss cheese. Like I got like 30 lines at the top, 10 lines in the middle, and 10 lines at the bottom. But I got a pointer, so when I actually run the malware, it knows where to begin to make the malware one file. So I've seen it done a couple ways, JM. Fileless malware is cool, but most people aren't that smart. They usually just split up the malware up and have jumpers inside a register to show you where the next part of the malware ends. So when you run it, it looks like it'll be one file. So for the boots, yeah, boots on the ground. So yeah, I mean, so there's different cyber attacks. One, we could do the boots on the ground, and two is you got to think all that your tanks and your communications are all done on the internet now, right? So if I shut that down, right, it's gonna be hard for your forces to communicate, right? So Russia put Russia gotta push the facts. Shout out to Gabe A in the house. He's always in there. So shout out to my man. We talking Russia, nuclear, a little bit. We going back to Stuxnet's game, man. Just talking about how you would how a nation state will attack a country. I'm sure you quite aware of the nation state. So I mean of the Stuxnet. So the United States got that in their bag too. What do you think about the Earn It Act? I got to look that up, Helmet. I'm not familiar with the Earn It Act, but I've been studying for AWS and working and trying to do a YouTube channel. U.S. commercial can't be connected to the internet. At least U.S. plants wouldn't be vulnerable to those vectors like SQL injection. I thought we were kind of connected like Iran and Russia was. So because two is true, even if we're not connected, I'm sure they're getting a software update, so we could be probably a solar winds attack, Gabe. I'm gonna drop the link if you want to come up, man. So I'm thinking stuck next on the United States side, Gabe. I'll let you chime in on that one. Let's get everybody. Person-centered cyber, glad you can make it. So, but yeah, so nation states could attack the government. So the question is, how will we stop them? I'm sure we practice and we have things in there that we think would block a nation state. But so the question is, would we? Right? Because Russia just beating up on poor little Ukraine. So I always think Russia's coming for us. So So Super Bowl Sunday, what's you doing? I need you to cook me some wings and make my sauce. I could do that. Actually, I don't cook, Princess A. I told my son to cook it, but I could get you a plate. Shout out to Princess A. Thanks for joining. Blind got his wife. I'm trying to throw a salad in there too, Princess A. I'm trying to lose a little weight in 2022. Salute to Citizen Lou. I'm gonna have to get on that chess game, man. I'm a chess master. I'm gonna have to pop on your channel, Citizen Lou. It was a little too late, too little early, I guess. When I looked, I think it was up at like 2 or 3 a.m. playing chess. Shout out to Citizen Lou. I'm gonna have to jump over there and whoop up on him, man. I got chess skills too, so I'm throwing that out there. The link to chime. I'll drop it down there for you, Gabe. Gabe, there you go if you want to come up, or whoever's want to come up. So I'm gonna go through these slides. So there is adequate coding sparks. The problem is we just suck at it. A lot of times you got a new team or you got a junior person working on it. Sometimes they just miss SQL injection. The cool thing is, because we're talking about AWS, they actually do have a web application firewall to help you protect SQL injection if you miss it. But some of those are 0-day attack SQL injection too, Spark. So every now and again, because no SQLs, it's not old, but it ain't super new either. So there's different ways to attack those in there. So thanks for coming, Sheet. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me, Savage Scientists in the house. Encryption, this software ever heard of? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I do and I do STIGs. So part of STIGs is you gotta have FIPS 140-2 encryption level that been approved by the government, right? So, but what that usually protects is if somebody steals your disk and put it on another machine. If I hack your user helmet, I got your rights. So if I got the same rights you got to your PC, right? So if I hijack your user or do a phishing attack helmet, once I get your credentials, I got the same rights on your PC, so I can read anything you can read. Right now, if I steal your driver or something, right, that'll be a problem. But oh, 100%, Antonio, they gonna do cyber before they put boots on the ground. So, let me see. What I missed, the chess game. Oh, my man up there, Citizen Lou, had a chess game going on the other day. Early this morning. I want to say it's 4 a.m. So I put pressure. One second. You could just let whenever you pop up, we're good. So yeah, Citizen Lou, he had the chess game going on. So I need to pop in on there. He had it on the YouTube channel. I'm about to get up in there and start whipping up on some people. So shout out there. So let's get back to the DevOps. As you see, the part of development is code, plan, and test. Right. The release part of development is when you put it in your EC2, when you put it in your cloud, when you put it in your Azure, you put it in your AWS. Now you got to monitor it. Now you got to operate it. Now you got to log it, right? Now you got to make sure who's supposed to be get to it can get to it, right? So that's kind of it at the, and we'll dig more in. So you got the AWS Catalog. We got the AWS pipeline. So got the AWS pipeline. The AWS code pipeline. We got AWS code commit, AWS build. Cloud formation is the automation part. And we're going to hit each one of these a little more deeper, right? So we can get into, you got the development environment. So the cloud formations, automation, right, builds your environment, right? You got your servers with Lambda. You got your databases. You got your API gateway to make sure your call is secure. You can have a web server, app server. Shout out to Citizen Lou. You're going to do all that and amplify and push the code out to your environment, right? And you can do that with part of that code, which is saved and amplified, but you can have build code, push it out. You can have AWS Cloud Formation. If you want to set up a couple of test environments, you can have AWS Cloud Formation, push out AWS Amplify with all that code, right? So, and build your production environment on the fly, right? So that's what automation does. And once again, remember, we're trying to make sure from a security standpoint, nobody sneaks any additional code in here and get us hacked or get any of our customers hacked, right? So that's what, from this is about. So AWS provides a flexible service design to enable companies to more than rapidly and reliably build and deliver products using AWS and DevOps practices. This service simplifies provisioning, infrastructure, deploying application code, automating software releases, and monitoring your application infrastructure right there. So everybody wants to do a website. Everybody wants to sell something. But when you have it out there, right, you taking credit card numbers, you making sure nobody steals your credit card numbers, you making sure who has access can only do what you want them to do, right? That's kind of what AWS helps you with. And this is what DevOps helps you monitor, right? To make sure you're not doing anything that you shouldn't be. And the other part is making sure nobody's doing something you don't want them to do on your application. Right? DevOps is a combination of cultural philosophies, practices, and tools that increase an organization's ability to deliver application services at a high velocity, evolving and improving products at a faster pace. Organization using traditional software development infrastructure processes. This speeds enable an organization to better serve the customers and compete more effectively in the market. Right. So when people do stuff like Facebook, Snapchat, right? When you build those products, you want to get those out to the consumer. Why? You want to start making money, right? You want to build your presence. And part of that is you don't have to be making money, but if you have 1 million users or something, when you go to a venture capitalist, we're talking about stock, right? Or you trying to do an IPO, some of that's what traffic, volume, and what people are doing on there, right? I wouldn't call it a new strategy. It's probably 10 years old. Savage Scientists is DevOps. Um, from that perspective, how old do you think it is? I think it's about 10 years old. So I would call it new, but all the new teams are using it. I feel like I'm out of date because every team I talk about it now, like at work, we finally went to Agile and DevOps and Azure and AWS using those facilities. So I actually been working with some of our programming teams they got a new term, DevSecOps is the security part of that, like we were talking about, making sure nobody injects code. And we got a couple slides on there. How to do vulnerability scans before you put the code out. How do you do static analysis before you put out? Like my man said, scan so you don't make sure you don't have SQL injection where it does validation checks on most of your input, hopefully. So, but all that's part of the DevOps process, right? From a security perspective to make sure it's locked down, right? So in AWS, right, it's fully managed. The service can help you take advantage of resources quickly. You can worry less about setting up, installing, and operating infrastructure. That's AWS's whole facility. That's AWS whole stick on. So I want to invite my man up.
Hey.
I'm gonna make you a moderator. Put your channel in there, man. I want you to get them users. I'm gonna make you a moderator in a minute. So
appreciate it.
Let me add on.
I already am, man. Actually.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm already a moderator.
Okay, I thought I throw it. Channel there. Go subscribe to everybody. Gay Bays, everybody in the box. Blind got his wife in their life. I'm trying to eat more salads. I'm not doing good in 2020, Gabe. I'm getting fatter, man. I'm not making progress, but I'm trying. Oh, shout out to Person Center Cyber. She be giving you that I call it the business side, the policies and procedures and stuff people don't think is relative, but I do federal stuff, so all that's relative. So I think we were talking about the nuclear, which definitely your world. I was thinking we were close to Stuxnet, and I know we get software package to upgrade stuff. So I think we can maybe sneak a couple malware in that. I'm gonna let you chime in on
right back. I'm getting a phone call, so I'll be right.
Okay, go ahead and do that. I can keep talking on some slides. So Gabe Ago, that's my man. He got a nuclear, I think, engineering degree. So I'm gonna let him chime in. So I like when smart people come up. That's one thing I like about my channel is I don't know everything, so I got people I'm gonna bring up that are, have their specialty in here. So Person Center Cyber want to come up, she's definitely welcome. So new cyber, yeah. So that's my man. Go check him out. He's doing great work in the cyber community, and that's kind of my lane in this sphere. So got to give my man a little prop. So let's look at a couple more slides. It was programmable. You have options to use each services with AWS command line, API, SDK. You can also model and provisions infrastructure. We're going to talk about that using CloudFormation. And this summer, which is almost here, and Gabe keeps calling me out, is we're going to lab on this stuff. We're actually going to set some stuff up, right? So my first year I want to lecture. This summer, we're going to be using AWS free services, and we're going to actually spin this up and use it so we can talk about it in real life, how to set it up, how to do compliance, how to scan, like my man said, for SQL injection, command injection, so XRF, cross-site scripting, right? All of those. The cool thing is Amazon has products to scan and help you find those, but those are real attacks that are still in the wild today, right? So you definitely want to scan for those, and we're going to touch on that, like I said, coming up from automation part. That's the new thing, right? Because when you're in Amazon, you're trying to spin up 400 or something, or 200 or something, or 300 VMs, and you're trying to put the code in 300 VMs and have 100 web servers, 100 web app servers, 3 databases, right? So you got to do that with automation. You can't do that by hand, right? So you want to make sure that happens. Security part, like we talked about, we don't want to be SolarWinds. We don't want to get the government hacked, right? So secure, right? You can use AWS Identity Access Managers to set user permissions up. That gives you granularity. Then the automation part, when you get this set up, you can use command line features to use this access and identity so your automation won't get hacked, right? And we're gonna, like I said, as we do more on this channel. And so that's the flow. And we're gonna dig into that, right? Commit, pipeline, build, test, deploy in development, deploy in production, right? You see your VPC production environment over there, right? And like I said, we're gonna dig down to each one of these. Let's hit the chat. Would probably know about that Earning Act and its implications for encryption. Well, that's where I need to learn about that, because a lot of the foreign governments, they don't want you to have end-to-end encryption because the FBI, the CIA can't catch bad guys. So they don't want you to have end-to-end encryption actually on that. So I'm gonna dig into that helmet. So I think it was, I want to say it's Europe or United Kingdom are pushing back against end-to-end encryption. So, which for me, I think that's a huge step back, helmet. I think we need end-to-end. I think we need end-to-end encryption, right? And I don't think we need to be making backdoors for the government to actually be able to look at anything they want to look. If they bring a search warrant, then I think the vendor has the keys to give them the purview of what they need to look at. But let me know, Helmet. I'm thinking about actually doing a whole video end-to-end encryption and what that means. Like you said, the wider implications of that for the whole United States and really the whole world, right? We know dictatorships, you don't have end-to-end encryption because they want to read your email. What does that mean for a free country? I guess you could call us. Are your emails open to be read, right? So that could be a whole different conversation. Let me know if you want that some wider. I think and I'm gonna have Gabe chime in on that after he chimes in on the nuclear talk. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, so I was hearing some of the conversation about can people or organizations, I guess nation states, hack nuclear plants? And actually, according to like the government agency, the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, they it's literally regulated for all commercial nuclear plants that they cannot be in any way internet connected, and they do like an inspection.
How you get updated software then?
Well, you got to do everything manually. So you have to download from the internet, and then there's actually nuclear cybersecurity technicians who go from device to device to device and update things. And also, because it's not internet connected, that also kind of cuts out an attack vector. So some things stay unpacked for long periods of time because of the equipment and environment. But yeah, it's like no internet access that's allowed. So
the only way we can get them though is, you know, me, I'm gonna keep going on this. I would have to hack the technician and get some malware on him, so when he updated, I could get him. But like you said, it's super hard, 1% chance, tiny.
Let me tell you about that, because there's even network infrastructure in place to help to, so you know how malware works, right? It has that command and control type of capability where there needs to be something beaconing out, and it needs to talk back from the internet or whatever the bad guys' systems are. Within nuclear plants, there's again another piece of network hardware that's there. It's called a data diode or unidirectional gateway, which only allows data and information to flow in one direction. So even if somebody does get malware in a nuclear environment, it might cause some disruptions, but they have no way of establishing any type of command and control capabilities because of that data diode. So yeah.
So you saying we learn from Stuxnet? We not trying to file for that here with the Stuxnet.
Well, you know, the thing about Stuxnet is that that was actually like an inside job. So you know that insider threat thing is you still don't have ability to mess up with insider threats. So it just all depends, man. It all depends. Yeah.
What's your take on Helmet asked him in encryption? I know a lot of governments, we're actually fighting that. The United States don't want in encryption because the government can't look at certain information, and they want to be a backdoor in a lot of encryption things. And I know, shout out to Facebook, they're fighting, all the big companies are fighting. I think we should have in encryption. What's your thought on that?
You said you don't think we should have any?
No, I think we should. But then it's hard for us to catch the bad guy, right? Because the police can't do what they're supposed to do. Go ahead.
Well, you know, it's interesting because it just depends on the environment. So I know that within like industrial control systems and kind of like nuclear plants, electrical utilities, these type of organizations, encryption comes with some computational overhead. right? You need to have some type of servers in place in order to be able to exchange keys. When a lot of those type of environments, those industrial manufacturing environments, that computational overhead can cause delays in capabilities. It can cause a delay in a switch being turned, or a flow pump being opened, or a sensor transmitter. So in a lot of those environments, encryption just doesn't exist. So it's really easy to point out malware when you see encrypted traffic in an industrial control system environment, because if it's encrypted and encryption is not enabled on endpoints like servers and workstations and human machine interfaces, then it's easy to point out the malware. So in those environments, no, like you don't do a lot of encryption. But in the enterprise IT environments, of course, yeah. So I'm with that, especially in Department of Defense and government environments. So it's kind of my little take.
Because a lot of the new servers now, they actually got the chip that just does encryption, right? They got encrypted chip that just does. And I think for your favorite thing, the sticks, I think they made that a Cat 1. I'm like, dude, that new servers ain't got that. I mean, old servers ain't got that in there. So they got the new encryption chip in a lot of those servers now to take care of that computation.
A lot of what people do is that they're using what you call hard tokens in a lot of environments, right? That's another way, having those RSA hard tokens where it has the codes that refresh, and you use that for your multi-factor authentication. So that's a way where you can take away some of that computational overhead with that hard token. Rather than a soft token, you got to install an agent that has to be running, and so it's different ways. So
I'm goofy. I told them my DBAs and our SSA need both. Everybody looked at me like I'm crazy, because people were beating MFA. They were taking what was it called? The golden ticket, right? They took the MFA out of Active Directory. They had your session token, and they were off and running.
Listen, I mean, I've actually executed that attack before too.
No, don't be showing off, man. No, I'm just playing.
Speaking of, but like, of course, ethically, right, with permission. But I've actually done that. Overcame. So it was just wild. So within this one environment, I was doing an internal pen test, and they had those RSA token programs, right? It's just like a little program with codes. They were running it right on the desktop. So I was able to hack into that particular workstation because I got the credentials for that, the system level credentials for that workstation. And all I'm doing is like getting the codes from their desktop application. So it's just like, that was easy. So now I'm able to authenticate to all the applications that they have access to because they're running it locally on their machine. So if I compromise the machine, easy. You overcome multi-factor authentication.
Right. So let me read a couple more of these slides. We're going to be out.
I'm going to go in. I keep going.
No, that's cool. Let me read a couple slides and we'll jump in because somebody got a SCADA question. So the third one, I'm going to get to that. Let me read a couple slides. Sure. So if you look at from a DevOps, and I'm sure Gabe can talk about a lot of, that's kind of SolarWinds. They injected it into the programming thing. Then when that program went out to all their vendors get hacked, right? So hopefully when we do secure coding, this is the pipeline. We check it in. The code line builds it, tests it, and put it in production or S3 bucket. So we want to have encryption in all these. We want to be testing too for the OWASP top 10 and top 20 to make sure we don't have command injection and SQL injection, right? Because Gabe just says if you weak, he gonna get you. So hopefully when we program this stuff, we're gonna be putting those checks into this pipeline, right? And in summer, like Gabe said, I got to start doing it. We're gonna build a pipeline, sign the pipeline, so when you get it, at least the code is signed. So if Gabe got it and he don't have the keys, he can't look at it, right? So those some low level protect. But Gabe's good; he can probably steal the keys, but at least gonna make him work a little harder, right? You gotta have levels to this, right? Levels.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's read that, and then we get to the SCADA one. Let's see. Aren't a good number of attacks done from inside? Yeah, you're. I guess when you say inside, when a hacker gets in, they're gonna be insider. You talking about insider threats by employees that works for the company, right? So hold on.
I think she is talking about inside, but most attacks are executed via phishing attacks, right? Most ways for people to get in. So a lot of times when we come in and do penetration tests, we take in what you call an assumed breach perspective. So it's like they assume that you're already inside. So they'll give you a network connection. They'll give you a VPN connection because they're like, phishing is already like killing us. So let's see, once the bad guys get in, what can they do? So that's what happens a lot of times.
Right. Look, read that question real quick, and I'm gonna let you answer that. The RSCADA system also connected to prevent attacks. When we do red team testing at DoD or large companies, we invite Gabe and them and give them a conference room. Like you said, we're gonna give them some low-level accounts so we know people are gonna click the 30% off target coupon because we don't pay them shit. So when we send that kick, they're gonna click on it. So we know, like he said, they're gonna have that first level attack and from phishing, and they're gonna be inside. Right. So we're gonna get that to Gabe and see how far he get them. Because I've done probably 5 professional where I'm like, damn, we let them in the office. He goes, like Gabe said, those people are gonna click on them, so you might as well let them start there to see where they can get to.
It's the most prudent. It's the most prudent because it's like once they get in, like you want to see what they can do once they get in. Yeah.
Citizen Lou, what you got on before we chop it up some more? Go ahead. Citizen Lou, you there? Citizen Lou.
You want me to answer this one on SCADA?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me know when you come available, Citizen Lou. I can't hear you, Citizen. Let me see. He's on there. Oh. Mike, go ahead and answer that, Gabe. Oh, you there. What's up, Citizen?
Well, go ahead and answer the question, Gabe. I'm going to send some up real quick. Go ahead.
Okay.
Gotcha. So it says, are SCADA systems also not connected to prevent an attack? So SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Systems, right? It's a lot of stuff. It just means like, your electrical systems, your utilities, generation, transmission, distribution, pretty much. So it depends. So nuclear as a generation asset for a lot of organizations, those are not connected to the internet, right? To prevent a lot of those attacks. But when you talk about things like substations, so like everybody has like a substation somewhere close to their home, right? That's how electricity is distributed into your homes and your local businesses. Those a lot of times do have an internet connection to them, and typically it's over phone lines, but sometimes they're even using like internet, like they're using internet and cloud services because those substations need to be able to get communications between that local electrical distribution and those like electrical control centers, because those are the places where utility organizations are monitoring if you have like power outages. They're monitoring if there's a fault in the line. They're monitoring if a squirrel jumped on the line and cut off your systems. A lot of times that does require some type of internet connectivity. So for some SCADA systems, yes, they are connected to the internet and LTE and phones, but places like nuclear, they don't have internet connection. So it all depends.
Let me know if that answered, Jay. And what's up, Citizen Lou? I saw you with the chess game going on early this morning, man. What's going on, man?
Oh yeah, I was getting cooked. I had some people from my channel. I was like, if y'all want to play, I had this one dude. He played in high school. He was tearing me up. I was like, wow.
You thought it was sweet.
I thought it was sweet. Yeah, I thought because I beat these online. Other cats that they quit on me all the time. But somebody in my channel, boy, he gave me that work. I was like, all right, I gotta get back in the lab.
Facts.
But I'm glad you're doing this, man.
Yeah, man.
The AWS DevOps. Yeah,
Facts.
I wanted to ask you, brother. I want to ask you real quick. When you were talking about the Super Bowl, I missed that stream. I wonder if you explain it again about how like it could be a security risk. Like, are they like like what goes into like? How do you? I don't know the word. Oh, go ahead.
I got it. What I did is, Gabe, I did a Super Bowl, and I mean, I'm letting Gabe comment. That's really a lot of physical security. There's 40 nations that do stuff because it's called Tier 1. That's a Tier 1 attack that Al-Qaeda wants to blow us up on national TV. So you got Department of Homeland Security, you got the Air Force in the air. So I just went through a lot what the security do, right? So one of the things, which is not a joke, is when you walking up, they have facial recognition. If you're a known terrorist, you will not get in the game. If you got a big warrant, you will not get in there. If you owe your baby mama some money, you will get in the game. That's not high enough for you to block us. So there's a bunch of cybersecurity stuff. Then I actually brought the plans of the SoFi Stadium up. You can see the 4 pillars where if you ran into them or blow them up, the whole stadium will crumble, but you will not be able to get those stadiums because the Department of Homeland Security said they had 500 agents on the ground that are armed, right? Then part of
okay, I thought. Oh, okay, my bad, brother, Professor Black. I thought it was like a what's it called, y'all? Is it OPSEC something when you like getting it ready for cyber? You know, like prevent something from getting cyber attack. Is that what it's called?
They did that too. But from the security, the thing they're worried about is you have fake tickets. I'm sure they, like Gabe said, is they make sure you can't shut down the power grid around there. So I'm sure they have some extra things but most of that's going to be physical security.
Oh, okay. I thought, okay. I thought it was like
chime in, Gabe, if you want to ask.
I was going to say, it's really interesting how that physical security and cybersecurity, a lot of times those work hand in hand when you talk about these very large type of events. Like I know, like with the Boston Marathon, right? That was a biggie, right? Or like 9/11. Like these are what you call like critical infrastructure type of attacks that happen when it's like large events, large groups of people collecting. Like you could think of it almost as like a terrorist attack at times. So a lot of organizations, a lot of parties work together, whether it's physical, whether it's cyber, to really try to protect all of the assets, all of the people from being harmed. So yeah, man.
But I think what Gabe brought up is what a lot of people don't understand, and I like to do that because I'm like on channel. We never put physical with cyber anymore, Gabe. They're separate. But really, when you do a full cybersecurity program, when you go in the government building, they got the bowlers where you can't run a truck up in there. They usually have guards where they're scanning you, right? They got cameras in there. All that's really part of cybersecurity. We just we never really talk about the physical part of security.
Man, I don't think it's talked about, but organizations are considering it. I know last year I had did a physical, so like, you know how you have a penetration test, like you were like hacking on the computer, but there's also what you call a physical penetration test. So I literally went to, and this was like an oil and gas station. So, you had like those substations I was talking about, those electrical substations. They have these also for oil and gas, for gas storage, for gas compressor stations, really what it was. And they have these in remote places. Sometimes you got it in the back of the woods and whatnot. My job was to evaluate all of the physical security concerns of this plant, because this environment, if somebody got unauthorized access to it, they could cause some harm. So like I was doing things like walking the fencing, right? Understanding if there's gaps in the fences, if people can be able, like I was doing some stuff where I actually, you know how those like those push bars are? Like so the push bar was on the inside of the fence. And if anybody was just around, they could try to poke their hand around or try to get around it. But another technique that people use is that they'll just take their belt. They'll take their belt, they'll pass it through on one side of the crash bar at the top and then at the bottom, and you can just pull and open it, right? So that type of stuff, looking for camera systems, you're looking at door sensors, sometimes infrared sensors. Those are all part of that physical security, making sure unauthorized parties are not getting into your critical systems and your critical environment. So,
but yeah, too, is a lot of times is we failed one time because the secretary let an unknown person into our data center. He came and said he was the damn thick person that killed bugs, and he had a post of stuff. So they just opened the door and let him in. So he put a fake USB drive in there. He could have shut down the whole system, right?
So security awareness training, right? That's a biggie. That's like, people don't talk about that. Yeah.
So really, that's another bag, man. A lot of people don't realize physical security in the federal level is huge, because you can't get in those spots. If you get in those data centers, you can shut down something big. So a lot of people don't realize that that's a whole part of cybersecurity from a physical standpoint. We just don't really talk about in cyber very much.
Yeah. And like even things like, so like in some environments, you have third parties, you have vendors that come into organizations to do certain work, right? They might come in to, just like you said, manage a data center or something, or upgrade something or patch something. Is there a sign-in sheet? Is there some way that you're collecting that information for access? Is that access list or that sign-in sheet being evaluated, right? So like those are things that organizations really need to consider to be able to track who goes in and out of their environments and who touches their critical systems, their critical business systems. So
because we're getting audited by Booz right now, Anybody that doesn't have a government badge on, they better have a red visitor badge on, and they need to be escorted with the red badge on. They just can't be wandering around.
Man, I've even seen where if people lose their badges, there's been like, I used to work with a guy who was very good at scan or cloning badges, right? So like the what's the technology? RF technology or RFID or something technology. You could clone the badge and impersonate somebody who actually works there. That's all part of that physical security penetration test. So it's really interesting. Really interesting.
You got anything else, Citizen Lou, on that?
No, y'all brothers educate because I'm working on my security plus too. So I got
oh yeah, that's in there. Yeah,
so and that was actually in there, some physical stuff. Even something about a fire extinguisher was in that.
I hate that. Because I'm studying CISP. I missed it by 6 questions a decade ago. There's six types of fire extinguishers, and one of them is for medical catch on fire. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be where the iron is on fire, but there's a certain part of some fire extinguisher for metal, so that's in there.
No, that's what's up. Like I said, I just like when y'all brothers talk about when y'all get talking about cybersecurity. I just listen, man.
It's cool. Fun. And now drones are out there, man. Drones for surveillance.
Part of my video was a no-fly zone for the drones. They actually have eagles out there knocking drones out the sky. And it's a $30,000 fine if they find out who owned that drone. You get a $30,000 fine.
Yeah.
So they serious about those drones. Let me read a couple of these questions before we chop it up again. I know we're a lot of crap that needs to be outside course, but creating backdoors where folks exploit. Yeah, there's 2 backdoors. There's physical backdoors and backdoors in programs. So there's two sides of those backdoors. Wasn't the whole reason for backdoors because Apple didn't want to give up. That was more Apple messing with the government. The government really wants everybody to have a backdoor that they have access to, so they don't have to bring a search warrant, right? They can just look at the data they want to look at. Chime in on that, Gabe, if you want some of that.
Oh no, I think you covered it, man. I don't know that one specific with Apple, but I know you. I'm familiar. I think you covered it.
Who's that guy that voice made for her? She like your voice, Gabe.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know when I hear other people, I'm jealous when I hear my voice. I don't know if Gabe feels that way. Is when I start doing YouTube, when I listen to my voice, I didn't like it. I'm like, I need to start talking deeper.
I don't like it. I don't like it. My wife be like, talk, do more. I'm like,
yeah, I'm finally struggling.
I just do my best.
Erica, shout out to Erica taking all the tests. She's my role model. This week I came AWS. Oh, congratulations. Awesome. Accredited educator. I don't even know what that is. I gotta look that up.
They got AWS educator program. You gotta that's good.
Shout out to Erica.
Got a lot of stuff.
I tell people I'm 53, but I'm still learning too. I'm 53. I know you got an educator. Congratulations. I didn't know you could do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
she put her Credly link in here, and I see that I think it's an AWS graduate type of certification. She got a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah, she got a bunch of sir. Okay, Citizen, everybody come to your channel for the chess game, Citizen Lou.
Oh yeah, y'all come. Y'all come over.
Man. Yeah, go subscribe and go get your chess game. I know you need some hours.
Listen.
No, I got the hours. I just ain't got the 1,000 subscribers. I hit the 5,000.
Oh yeah, you do.
How do you all get watch time
live
hours?
Streams?
How do you all get watch time hours from live streams?
The live streams.
The
live streams.
Yeah, if you don't live streams, you won't get them.
Let me show you what I got, man. I'm getting ready to live stream. I had got this. It's called a Stream Deck.
Yeah, I got that too, Gabe. I got that, Gabe.
How you like it? I just got it yesterday.
I got the 15 key one.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Which one you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's the 15 key one.
Yeah, that's the standard one. I like it.
Yeah.
I do it for coding too. I put some commands. You can put VS Code commands on there. So like specific. Yeah, so you can open up the terminal with it. You can run us like npm or Python 3. Run us. You could do like a sudo, whatever, or Linux. You know what I mean? Whatever commands you normally use a lot. Right. I got my Spotify hooked up to it. I got a list of websites that I just hit, and it like Google, Stack Overflow, basketball reference.
Okay.
Are those the sounds with the deck?
So you could literally do anything with this. So I connected to my OBS, and then you can like click on one of the buttons, and it'll like play a sound.
Right.
Or you can click on one of the buttons, and it'll go to like a different frame. Like you can program it to do almost anything while you're streaming, rather than clicking around to everything. So
so I got
I
right
don't know
here.
citizens who've been using it. Tell me,
So I got my OBS stream scene. So like if I hit this button, it changes. The different whatever, and I got my Spotify.
Yep.
Wow.
So Spotify
25 badges.
And and then you have to use OBS Studio, but I got this bleep. So if you want to like say a cuss word, you hit the button and go beep.
That's
whatever. And I also got my certification countdown on here too, so like I can look at it every day.
Okay.
And then these are like the VS Code stuff.
Yeah. I feel like I'm so far behind.
Man, I just got it yesterday, and I'm learning because I'm like, I know I got to start live streaming.
You got to. You never get the hours, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the live streaming.
90 hours.
But the thing is, with the thing about the live streams though, it's kind of I don't know, maybe, but I just got to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about just changing my content.
You gotta hit up people who got like very big. I feel like I gotta hit up people who got very big channels.
Facts. But you
once you get a sign on from O'Shea,
I was just see
you good. You'll be 1,000 by next week.
Let me tell you, like we talk all the time, and I'm like, man, I want to show improve before I reach out to him for some help. I'm like, I want to build it up.
Yeah,
I would just go,
like
man.
You said, just go for it.
Now, I see what Gabe's saying though.
I do, but I follow Roberto Blake, and the thing he said that got me, but he said your first 100 videos gonna suck anyway. Just make them.
Yeah,
because you're getting better and better. Your content's good. You just kind of working on, making it shiny. Man, I would go and get it while you can get it, man. So
I got you.
Yeah, and I've been perplexed on like if I want to start a new channel, like specifically. That's what I should do though. Just make a new channel.
I would start a new channel, but that's my 2 cents. I know I heard you and Keep It Techie.
Keep It Techie told me to do the same thing. Yeah,
I would start a new channel.
That's what I'm gonna have to do, man.
Because you messing up the algorithm, man. You got chess,
men, don't Gabe. Football, basketball.
Yeah, like, so you messing the algorithm. Today? I'm gonna read this question. Everybody chat, man. What are the most popular and beneficial ways to mitigate an attack with the AWS infrastructure? Any other, for that matter, any tools that you would recommend? What's your take on that, Gabe? To mitigate,
I look at it as very similar to how you're doing, how you're hardening your systems against web application attacks or kind of just web attacks in general, because that's really what that connection point between like your internal systems, your critical systems, and the internet is the same thing as with the cloud. So I would say you harden those systems, whether ports, protocols, and services that are allowed in and out from your AWS nodes and your AWS systems. I think looking at that is probably a good place to start, is at those ports, protocols, and services, and hardening your servers and your workstations, your laptops within your organization. That's kind of where I would start.
Yeah, that's it. And if you look, Ghost MKC, if you look at well-architected AWS, and if you look specifically at Control Tower, if you spin it up using Control Tower, it's going to do what Gabe has said. It's going to cut down your attack surface. It's only going to open up 80 and 443. It's going to make you use a VPC when your admins are trying to do that. And if you do AWS Inspector, they have about 2 or 3 web servers specifically to look for certain attacks, looking in the logs for you. AWS created a lot of those services for you. If you look back at my videos, I did one on the security services, and I kind of went through at a high level which one of those services does. Kind of like we talked, the inspector's going to look through your logs, like Gabe A said. If Gabe A's in there using a golden SAML attack, he's got to do that a certain way. And the logs, as long as Gabe don't delete them, should be able to tell him that Gabe A is in there trying to get the Active Directory session key so it can run them up. So that's what I would look at, Ghost MKC. And in another month, I'm going to start spinning that up on Control Tower for those best practices. Then we could talk about that too. And Gabe keep telling me we need to hurry up and do it is once I do Control Tower, and then hopefully me and Gabe will do a tabletop and kind of walk through what he sees, how he would attack it from a paper level before we try.
Listen, man, take your time because I've been super busy with this channel, but so just whenever you have time, just let me know.
You were rushing me, but now you where I'm at. By the time I work and do something and try to do that, yeah, I'm right there with you. So yeah, that's what it'll be. Ghost, you got anything to add to that, Citizen Lou? I know you programming on your amplifier a little bit.
Not with the security side that much. I'm not too. I don't have any ways to mitigate an attack. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? I just been learning.
Oh, that's cool. I know you learning and I'm learning, man. So I'm putting it out there. So
right now I'm trying to use this. I'm using Lambda to create a serverless function for. So I found a web scraper on GitHub that scrapes basketball reference stats.
Oh yeah.
Because I could there's an API for it, but I kind of want to like challenge myself a little bit and just kind of use the service and then what they call the ETL, the ETL process, extract, transform, load. Isn't that what it is?
I did that for 20 years with Oracle. I done data warehousing for 20 years, man. So
right.
I done ETL for the government, man. I had a billion roles I had to handle. So,
but man, I won't lie, man. I think I'm like a corporate shield now, man. I'm just everywhere I go, I'm talking to people. I'm talking about AWS. Like I just AWS. Man. I just love it.
Wow, man, Erica dropping all types of game in the chat. I'm
gonna get there, man. My chat spikes. What's your thought on that? What you talk about a nation state hacking the video board at the Super Bowl?
That'd be crazy.
They probably could. I don't think that's really not a high value target. I would consider that a high value target.
Does Erica have a channel?
That's trolling.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Social credit. Oh, yeah, facts. That's actually Japan. They actually have a citizen credit score in Japan where they tell you if you're a credit score from an Orwellian standpoint. You got anything on that game?
No, nothing on that.
Okay, I got nothing. So yeah, that's me. Get a gifted lane on the show. She's on AWS Cloud Journey 2. Pete Burke, please. Oh yeah, I will interview Erica. I'm gonna start interviewing again. So I'll do that. Let's see what she's doing. Hand in hand, facts. Not to mention fake QR code. I did a video on fake QR codes. When you go to dinner, you could be going to a malicious website. Be careful. When you scan your menu. I did a little video on that. Go ahead, Gabe.
No, yeah, that's very true. Because what the QR codes do, they pull up a link, you click a link, and that's it, and they run it right on your phone. Right
now they've got malware on your phone and taking over your phone.
Yeah.
Shout out to Citizen Lou about to start up a chess game.
You about to do a chess stream?
I've kind of gotten addicted to it. I won't lie. I've been on this chess.
That's one reason I probably won't start playing because once somebody whip my ass, I got to start reading chess books again. I got too many videos to do. Y'all facts on defensive depth, Erica. That's number one thing. And so like when we was talking to Gabe, like you said, you gotta have your MFA, your Yuka card. So you got the USB drive. I got my VPC. I got my, everything. I got my inspector looking at the logs. I'm logging everything so I can track it if something happened. But yeah, defense in depth is probably number one in the security onion part. Go ahead, Gabe. You add anything?
Love security onion. Yep.
You add anything? Let me just keep going.
Nothing there, no.
Security's forgot. Oh, facts. I think we're getting a little better than that, savage scientist. I think the sad part is so many people getting hacked. I think actually board of directors, I'm supposed to help somebody do a presentation to board of directors because people are fearful about getting breached. Because if the breach is big enough, Equifax, the CEO was fired, the CIO was fired, and the CISO was fired because their stock market got cut in half. So I think we're getting a little traction among the big boys. What you got on that, Gabe?
No, I'm right there with you.
Because
listen, when I start talking about something, I'm gonna keep on going and going and going. So I don't want to hold up the channel.
Oh no, I'm trying to get some hours too, man. I like hours. It's all good.
It's all good. I'll chime in if I have something.
Okay, that's good. Princess, I guess gotta have physical skill. Be careful. Insider attack happen off. Yeah, that's true. Like we said, that's up there. Social engineering, number one. I put phishing as part of social engineering. So that is. I work at I gotta be careful how I say that. I work at a big department that doesn't pay very well. Every time we do a 30% target coupon, our phishing attack rate is probably 30%. It's like that's after they go to security awareness. It's like we told you don't click on it. But
I mean, there's the whole phishing camp like that's I've worked with organizations where they're like, that's the number one metric that they're tracking in their security program is phishing. And they got the fish me thing within their Outlook or whatever. So yeah, that's like the number one cybersecurity metric that they measure for people's security awareness programs. It's wild.
Which, I mean, it's a lot big, but that's like you said, that's the first entry point, and somebody's gonna do it. So
yeah,
I appreciate the Adrian. She gave me a shout out for my Super Bowl. That was more physical. I want to do something a little different. I'm gonna do something a little different. I get tired of physical part of our security. At least a few. No, that's true. That's true. Especially when I did CISP, that was a big domain. They were talking about if the light's shining in a CRT, do you need the narrow lens or the wide lens? I was like, I have no damn idea. That's probably why I didn't pass.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to that. Like perimeter. So yeah, all of that part. Like Gabe was talking about the fence, and I know since I work at a government installation, the perimeter is the building. So when you come on, we got bowlers in the front. Gabe, remember, because I think I'm a decade older than you, but Oklahoma City, fertilizer blew the whole front of the building out because they didn't have anything that let trucks park that close to a building. You're a federal building, you shouldn't be able to park right in front of a high target building like that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, that's probably before. Oklahoma City, just do Oklahoma City, federal building, and fertilizer. It was it's a white guy. He was an internal terrorist, and he got upset with the government. And he put fertilizer in a U-Haul building, and it blew the whole front of it out. So when you come in DOD, there's two big planters in front of it. The flowers at top, they're 1 inch. That's a 2-ton boulder. So if a blast happens, it's gonna push the blast back. So yeah, so that was it. Like I said, I think I got you by a decade. That might be before your time, guys.
I don't know, maybe more than that, man. I ain't never heard of that.
So yeah, I think, well, shit. That might have been like 85, 90, 85, 90,
man,
95.
I wouldn't even thought of 95 or 80, not 85.
I gotta look it up real quick. So yeah, we'll look it up as far as, but yeah, it was I think it was Timothy McVeigh part of it. Impersonation can help penetrate Impersonation can also help penetrate but that's why you got on badges, and when you high level, we have facial recognition going to the data center. So if your face ain't recognized and there's nobody around you, the secretary is gonna get an email. And where I work at, police is in the building. Police will be heading your way if you walk in there with non-escort. But now you're right. So yeah, you can impersonate people. Oh, shout out Man Trap. I actually been stuck in one, Erica. I went to the Man Trap and I think I panicked and I didn't run through it quick enough. So it locked me inside the Man Trap. So I was actually in Indiana and somebody in New York had to unlock the doors. I got stuck in a Man Trap one time. So I'm going to throw this out. The only Man Trap I went to was actually at a student loan location. So they were really making sure those student loans didn't get hacked. That's the only Man Trap. You ever been through a Man Trap? That's the only Man Trap I've ever been through.
Yeah.
What's a Man Trap?
Yeah. So it's like a physical security deterrent. So whether it's like they might have a badge access thing or they might have some fences. Like, wait, no. Like a Man Trap is where it's like 2 points where it requires some type of authentication to go past it. So if you get caught in between it, you're trapped. That makes sense. So if you tailgate somebody through one of them and you don't have access to the next one, then you're trapped in the middle. Is that a good explanation?
It is. I'm going to show one on the screen. It's sure. I used to see them actually in banks in the hood. I've seen a couple of banks in the hood. So like I said, I've only seen them in 2 data centers in real life though. That's what kind of threw me off. I thought I would see them more. You see it on the screen? Citizen Lou, you see that?
Yeah, I see it. I'm looking.
So you go in the front door and the other door, they gotta let you in. If you don't have like say authorization, the other door is gonna be stuck and you're gonna be trapped. A lot of banks in the hood has this door. So when you walk in the front, they're actually X-raying and see if you got any guns, then they'll buzz you into the bank.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was a name for this type of scenario.
Literally traps a man.
Yeah, trap you in there.
Yeah, facts.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
That's cool. I'll keep reading the slide. Back to the pipeline, like we said, that's what we're talking about. Make sure we don't get bad guys in our pipeline. AWS has a code pipeline. It's for continuous integration and continuous delivery, service for fast and reliable application infrastructure. The code pipeline builds, tests, and deploys your code every time there's a code change based on a release process. We were talking about Agile earlier. That's the release process. This enables you to rapidly and reliably deliver features and updates quickly. Right? Format this as a high level. Like code line, you put your source code in there. You build it. So if it's Java, right, you're going to do the build in the Java. Hopefully, once you build it, it's going to be operational. Then you run unit tests. That's real big. You do that C#. You have your unit testing. You put it in staging, right? So you probably have a couple, usually signs off, then it goes in production, right? Then theoretically, you would want this to be all automation, right? You check into the source code, you click a button, says build it, test it. There's unit tests. So I'm going to have like hopefully a couple hundred unit tests to make sure that part is good. Stage it, put it in production. And now Facebook actually released code. I want to say they said they release code twice a day in their app. Because, they're just building so much stuff and having new features in there, right? Then part of that build process we were talking about is AWS build, fully managed, builds the code, like we said, compile it, run a test, do production, packages are ready to deploy. You don't need to prevent, manage, and scale your own build. The code build scales continuously process. We're going to talk about that at the end. Coming up, which I'm getting, you can build the infrastructure as code now. So when I spin up code, I can spin it up in a new region, and I think they got one in Ohio. I can make it 3 tiers part of code. I can put my Amplify, put my Beanstalk, which is going to run my web applications, have all that files in there, connect to a database, warm the database up by putting up the lookup tables in there, and I can do all that with code and test it, right? I never have to build. When I did it in 1990, I had to do it manually. I had to put the Oracle in, compile it, push it, package it, get with the DBAs, create the tables. Right now you can do that all without a person. We had 6 people on our team because we had 500 programmers in 5 states. So when they checked it in, we had to manually build all that, right? So, but we're progressing, quicker releases. Hopefully less bugs, which I don't think we're getting less bugs, but it's a lot more automation on that. You want to chime in on that? Okay.
No, that's a bit out of my wheelhouse in that DBA development.
I'm more really... purple team. I programmed for 15 years before I got in development. The first attack usually is on a web server. So that's kind of how I got in the game and got my chops off that purple team life.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Gabe, that's how I am, Gabe. If I don't know something, I just revert to that. I just sit back, let the I'm not, don't sit up here and cap and Professor Beck. I know, Gabe. I know all about the penetration. I do that all day.
That's what a lot of people do. I think it's really important to listen to people who actually have done something. I don't know. I feel like it's a way for people to. It's like you need to be self-aware. You need to recognize when somebody knows more than you and be okay with that. I don't have any type of competition or feel like I need to stunt because somebody knows something that I don't know. I need to learn.
I see young I think a lot of young guys do that because they want to seem knowledgeable. They don't want to seem like you left behind. Yeah. But I be amazed, when you came up on nuclear, I was like, oh, Gabe got the nuclear. I'm cool. Right. I'm gonna sit back. But I think too is I'm comfortable with myself. I'm not gonna be fired. I'm not gonna be demoted. So I'm cool. If you got it. Go ahead, Citizen Luke. Chime in on that.
I was gonna say I learned quick when you act like you know everything. You start getting more work handed to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Facts. So let me read a couple more of these in the chat while we flowing through them. Find the breaches, find the vault. We be trying to find the breaches. Yep. Erica, shout out on the man trap. I'm big on physical security and protecting access. I am too, but like I said, from a cybersecurity perspective, I'm having a lady come on our channel. She's actually a lawyer, and she does that for us for the IRS. Like I said, until I really started working at this big client, I really didn't do much with physical. Like I said, so she does that, everything from boulders, data center, webcams. Like Gabe said, we got to have our sign-in sheet.
Yeah.
So you got to have it documented. And two is that date we can go back to the cameras. So we got to keep the camera footage for so long. And
yeah.
So all that's part.
It's just wild how often I've been, say for instance, like an internal pen test, right? Cameras are some of the first things that you're able to find. So like I was seeing cameras on like building management systems, like a BMS, BAS. So building management systems, building automation systems. So like whether it's HVAC or whether it's elevators, I was seeing camera systems all in that environment. And some of them were like to kids' daycares. It was cameras pointing at entry points in the so that's another thing, right? Those cameras can give an attacker the capability to see, okay, where are the things? What is the composition of this environment? So, and a lot of times they don't harden those systems. So you can use default log in to get into them. You can turn cameras on, you can turn cameras off. You can do whatever you want to do with them, right? Sometimes there's credentials inside of there where you start to learn email addresses and users. I mean, there's so much information that you can gather from from just being able to hack into a camera system. So
yeah, I was on one. We hacked it. The camera let you zoom in on people's keyboards, so you were watching them put in your password.
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
Yes.
I was like, uh-oh.
Yes.
So,
you can do all that.
You
can see where the security guards are, like what their shifts are, like, and this is all from the comfort of your home, right? You can do all that, like access cap, or like, oh man, like I'm not gonna put this out there because you could do it like just sitting in front of your computer right now. Because internet-facing cameras are just something that organizations do, because a lot of times they offshore that, or they use that as a third-party service for security monitoring. So they have internet-connected critical camera systems. So it's wild, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild what you can do.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I can find cameras right now. Like,
I know where you're going. I know
talking to the internet. I mean, not even necessarily Shodan, man. Not even necessarily.
I was going to Shodan.
You could just Google. Listen, you just Google. Like, you could put in a vendor. You could put in a particular protocol. You can put in several things that will just have all types of cameras pop up. So yeah, man.
No, I see you, Antonio. Get that security plus. Get that A plus. I would get that network plus, because for me, networking is kind of basis, because everything really sits on your networking. Your VMs on your networking. So if you got your database, like what bank was that? They had their database open to the internet. They just stole it off. So if your networking ain't right, it's easy for people to buy. What's that credit? What's the one where they said it's in your wallet? What's the name of that damn company? It's your wallet, or
Allstate?
No, it's a bank I think of. But yeah, I'll Google it. They had
your
their
wallet?
Stuff. Yeah, they had it updated.
It's the one with the little red.
Yeah, it is. I can't even think of the name of it. But yeah,
Citibank.
Their AWS was. I don't think it was Citibank. One of them bank. I'll look it up. But
I know it's in your wallet. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, it's in your wallet. Yeah, we used to
say Capital One.
Capital One.
If
you Google that, yep. If you do AWS and Capital One, they let their database open up to the internet, and a lady put the thing on Reddit, and they took the information. So so you got to have your networking type. Shout out to Savage Scientist. Go subscribe to him. You can't fly that at the Super Bowl. No drones at the Super Bowl.
But just like you're talking about with like networking, right? Like knowing what your public IP, like if you tell people what your public IP addresses are for your organization, like you need to have some of that networking knowledge in order to be able to do security. There we go. That's all I want to say on that one.
Facts. So that's just so true. My boss says, Snuggles, you need to come up. Snuggles always says she's gonna come up. She never come up. Shout out to Seth.
I think Snuggles is a dude.
I could teach you like fact, congrats. Let me know when you teach a class, Erica. I might sign up.
Hey, that's
Amazon Web Service. AWS is Amazon Web Service. You can actually rent compute power. Most companies don't buy computer power. They rent it unless you like a huge. So that's the next bag. It's cloud. It's super hot. Go ahead, Citizen Luke.
My bad. I think I got a delay. My thing moved a little slow. I was just gonna say I agree. I didn't know like how much networking knowledge was, how critical it was, especially to like cloud and security and stuff like that. So I've been really kind of honing that in, learning the layers and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. That networking knowledge, you really can't, just put that to the side. It's critical.
And like I said, and I shout out to Network Bruh. He has a Cisco channel. Gabe, I always give him the stig of the day for Cisco. So we talk about how do you harden your network in Cisco, which is on-prem, and how do you harden that in the VPC, right? So we're taking it. So long story short is, Gabe know this, most time when you do AWS, they got Active Directory on-prem, and you sync them up, so you don't have. So a lot of people, if you get your on-prem credential, you got their cloud credentials, right? So we're going to talk about locking that in the VPN tunnel, signing those credentials to make them hard for somebody to come in the middle and steal them. So
I've seen what's that product called? CyberArk. And they take privileged users and they cycle their credentials like every 30 minutes or every hour. So even if those creds are captured, right, from a domain administrator, then they'll be different in the next 30 minutes. So
it's fine. No, you're right. The problem is CyberArk is expensive as hell.
Very expensive.
So unless you're a big dog, you ain't gonna have that.
Yeah.
All right, Lou, I'll check you out. So so that's my only thing. I try to make sure what I do can be medium or small companies. So talk about that too. So let me go through the rest of the side. So we're talking about the build. If you look at there, you check your code in. At the bottom from the code pipeline, goes to code build. It builds it like you Java. Take your source code too, you check it in there too, which we shouldn't have, which we do. Sometimes people put passwords in there, credentials, and keys in there because they actually have VMwares for web service to talk in there, which we frown upon. But a lot of junior people or people with legacy system actually have passwords and shit inside their source code. But then too is you're gonna put it on their S3 bucket or CloudWatch, right? Because we're gonna be reviewing the cloud. So once again, we're gonna do that with automation and make all that happen. All right. Part of that is code commit. That's where we fully manage source code control, make it easy for companies to host and secure scalable Git repositories. You can use code commit to securely store anything from source code, binder. So if you got code, lookup files, config files, a lot of times we're gonna put them in code commit. Then when we build them, right, the build part's gonna pull them out to commit and compile them and put them where they're needing the code, so they can automatically start working on them, right? And we can build it anywhere on the plane.
Because a lot of organizations, especially like financial organizations, they have internal development groups. And a lot of times those groups kind of have free reign because they want them to be as productive as possible. So they'll have systems that are touching critical systems, but they also have access to the internet or access to all, like, so they have a lot of little back doors and ways that they can do things. So having that capability, it looks having a secure way of managing code and everything with some type of Git repository is really important.
So I work with our development teams and Citizen Lou Lab. I was teaching him about to do developers like Gabe just said, sometimes they have over privileges and too many privileges. So I need to take some of those privileges away. You need just enough privileges to do your job. I know you want to be the admin and staging because it makes it easier to do anything you want. But if your credentials get hacked, then we are toast. Right? So I try to work with those teams. But like Gabe, so that's the pipeline. Commit, deploy, and the pipeline is going to push it out.
Or they'll even post some of those Git repositories for critical code to like GitHub and make it public if they misconfigure it. So I just want to throw that in there too.
No, they do. Then two is like he said, when they do that, they're not thinking. It's like, dude, you got passwords in there. They just forget they got passwords for automation, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that, scanning and looking for keys. AWS has something called Code Guru. I don't think it in there. It actually specifically looks for SSH keys, passwords, usernames to try to find that out. So you want to make it easy for Gabe to get in there and just hack your stuff, right? So,
I mean, even one thing that Citizen Lou was talking about is web scrapers. You take a web scraper, maybe written in Python or anything, right? It can scrape the web or scrape GitHub. You can use regular expressions to make it match social security numbers or phone numbers or different email domains. Like, yeah, so you can use web scraping, right, to do what Citizen Lou was doing, as he was saying with the basketball stuff. You can also use it to scrape credentials and sensitive information on GitHub repositories. So,
and I think a lot of nation state does that. They put scrapers out there just to see what they're gonna come up with. Now, absolutely, passwords and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, they'll scrape for antiquated operating systems, internet connected, like Windows XP services or Windows XP devices or Windows 2000. They're scraping the web to find what those systems are. So yeah,
we noticed that one time on it. We're like, oh, I think that's some stuff. Oh my God, go shut that down and change that password. Shout out to Erica. You get 50% off. Check her out. I might need to check her out. Starting to do my AWS stuff. What do organizations do to try to detect APTs, rootkits that bypass antivirus, IDS, and IPS? Go ahead, Gabe. I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I didn't even look at it. What do organizations try to detect APT or rootkits that buy? So, a lot of times organizations are using, just kind of at the simplest level, they're using some type of SIM solution, right? Security, incident, event, and management systems. And these typically have all types of rules, all types of code to be able to monitor your critical systems or your business systems. And that's kind of using a lot of different techniques, and it kind of pulls it all together, whether it's logs, whether it's network information, whether it's host device information, pulls it all together into a dashboard. And that is in front of security analysts or security operations center folk, and they're monitoring that regularly. So that's typically what they're using to detect whether it's some type of advanced persistent threat or some type of rootkits or some type of antivirus issue. So, and a lot of times those SIMs, they might also be incorporated with, like you mentioned, those IDSs, those intrusion detection systems, or those intrusion prevention systems in the form of like a Splunk or something along those lines, in order to be able to stop things or to detect things from happening. So,
I think if you look, which is up here, I think when FireEye scans, is it looking for rootkits too?
Yes. So and that was why it was so cool working for Mandy and FireEye, because literally when we would find something in the field, we would find new things all the time. Whether it would be, we do red teaming events, or red teaming engagements, or if we're doing like an incident response engagement, what we're seeing frontline in the field, we take that, we bundle that up and give it to those threat intelligence people. We feed it into the FireEye engine or whatnot. So it's always up to date based upon the information that we would see on the front line. So yes, whatever we saw on the front line is what we fed into FireEye. So yeah,
JM, the only big problem with that is the client I work for is huge, and that shit is super expensive. Shout out to Gabe. That shit is super expensive, but no, it does all that. Let's see. Cheers to getting certs.
I'm studying for another one right now, man.
Say that again.
I'm studying for another cert right now. One of these SANS ones. I've been taking my time on this one. This one is on like incident response for industrial control system environments. So I'm right there with y'all, man. I'm in the trenches getting them certs just like everybody else.
And we have to I usually do it for federal clients because long story, NIST 800-53 CMC, you got to run an incident response practice. I think every 3 years. That's why we have that red team come on. Then once a year, we got to run a tabletop. And so we got an incident response team. And one of those teams, the CEO's on, because if we lose the whole database without information in, we have to call him.
I got you.
So the incident response. Like I do that from a federal level, especially.
Man, a lot of organizations just get a retainer and they just call it a day. A lot of them do that. Yeah.
No, true. But I guess from us, because we're in the middle, the government grades us on that, right? So we don't get grades. So, but no, you're right. But the cool thing though is, this is, we had a couple minor incidents, and since we practiced, it was that we called the thing, we called our SOC, we had somebody in retainer that came in, so it was like, it's funny because another agency happened. They said they had no idea who to call or what to do.
That's wild.
She's probably in there. Depending on what state, different states have different breach notice. I got to notify the state general attorney. I got to notify FISMA, I gotta notify, HIPAA because we got some
FBI, CISA,
yeah. And two is CERTA. So that's why you practice, because when it really happens, you want to know who to notify, when to notify, what's your threshold for notifications, right? All that's in there. So let's see. Going fresh and fit. I don't know what that means. Somebody said going fresh and fit. Roberto Blake's no. Oh yeah, Roberto Blake's my guy for growing a YouTube channel. I actually bought this $100 course. So my thumbnails look halfway decent. I was doing PowerPoint till I bought this class. He got some nice little thumbnails I bought for Roberto Blake. Too. So yeah, I might try to get some of that affiliate marketing money later. He's got a part of my courses. He teaches you affiliate marketing money, but my thumbnails was looking crappy, so I bought his thumbnails. So, which is cool. So shout out to Roberto Blake. Amazon. Oh, yep. Got a study to do and wings to eat. Shout out to you. I'm trying not to eat too many wings. Like I said, Professor Black, I just got to lose some damn weight. Yes,
and I got some food coming right now, man. I just hit the DoorDash.
Oh man,
we're actually moving, so we're actually moving back to Detroit. So yeah, my wife is in Detroit because she's working.
Okay.
She just got a new job down there. I'm still here in Ohio, so I got so much time.
I guess I didn't know I was that close to you, man. Shout out to you, man.
Where you at?
I'm in Indiana.
That's not far at all.
Oh no,
okay, I got family down there. From
I did my CISP test in Ohio. We drove down there to take it for some reason.
Gotcha. That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
might have to link up one day.
Yeah, we do that. Like some substance is sexy, makes you look shiny. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Let's see. There's security up. Facts. So yeah, security. I did a couple videos of security with all the stuff.
She was dropping all that game. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Fact. Now you could. I agree. Yeah, man. That YouTube is a grind, man. By the time when I finally got to the monetization with the users and the hours, I just don't. My views are so low, man. I make $1 a day, like for little African kids. I got to get my views up. So.
Really?
Yeah, but my CPM's pretty high with yours. Be CyberSecurity, the CPM is high on that though.
Yeah, you know what they say that you gotta post on different forums. Like you gotta post on like LinkedIn, Reddit, GroupMe, and Discords.
You just need to call O'Shea and you be all right. You don't need to do any of that.
Listen, I'm not. He would do it, man. Like I know he'd do it in a heartbeat, man. That's my guy. But I just I want to grind a little bit. Like I want to feel it. Before I just
I feel you, man. But hey man, I tell people this, man. I do this too, man. Take advantage of your contacts, man. That's why you got them, man.
Man. So I'm gonna do one. Like I'm gonna do something with O'Shea, probably with Dewan too. Like me and Dewan be texting like Lightfoot. Like I'm just like I just don't want to. I don't know, man.
Man, you better use that, man. Why you making it hard on yourself, man? We tell people get certs, get your skills up.
Yeah.
So don't make it hard on yourself, man.
Man, I feel like I've been on Dewan's channel like 3 or 4 times already.
I said I thought you had a channel because when I first made Keep It Techie, you was on everybody else's channel.
Listen, since like 2016, man. I've been just jumping on everybody's channel forever.
So you owe that. All good, Ghost. Let us know if you got anything else, man. We trying to grow the InfoSec community. Gabe, I keep calling you more red team because you are offensive. You do a little everything. I'm more.
It's wild.
I'm more blue purple because I came from a programming background, so we both got different strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, Gabe. If I'm at work and they talking red team, I'm gonna be like, "Kid, call." Gabe, I ain't got his number.
It's so wild because it's kind of like once you. I just kind of do a little bit of it all because I'm actually working right now to stand up a brand new like incident response service within my organization. So it's just, man, we looking at a go-to-market type of scheme. But it's a lot. So, but that's very incident response. We're giving log recommendations, doing table type exercises, incident response, preparedness services.
Man,
you name it.
Y'all doing government work, man.
Well, not even necessarily government. Like we work some government entities, but also very much so just regular organizations, whether it's industrial organizations, transportation. I mean, I can go on and on and on, man. No, it's just
I just in the government side because, like you said, most commercial, unless they really big or they reporting to somebody in the government, they usually, like you said, just get the retainer and chill. Now,
Yeah.
Like if they get audited, like I'm doing some pharmaceutical work, so they're gonna get audited by the FDA.
Yeah.
And something else. So that's why they're doing it, right? So
but you know what's an added benefit to getting those retainer services, because if you don't use those hours, then companies can repurpose those hours towards things like training. They can do, like I was mentioning, like incident response preparedness. We can do like some reviews of their security program or their log review, or give them like architectural and sensor strategy stuff. So it's not only just like, hey, we're here if you get breached, but also, hey, if you don't use these hours, you can use this to be able to harden and to kind of add to your cybersecurity hygiene. So it's a big ticket item, because a lot of organizations are worried about getting hacked, man. A lot of organizations are using, those sell like hotcakes, man.
we worried about that because, like I said, I do a lot of federal work, so we feel like SolarWinds, when there's a big attack, everybody's trying to go to the big boys and they're booked up.
They are. Yeah.
So if you ain't got them on retainer, you like number 50. You can't wait that long for that.
That's the thing, man. And that's the thing. All retainers are not created equal, right? They have retainers they have just basic retainers where if you get breached, it's like best effort for us to respond to your issue, to your breach. But retainers with an SLA, right, a service level agreement, that means that we have dedicated resources in the event that you get hit. But the ones with SLAs, they cost more. They cost a lot more.
A lot more, facts. But so that's some of our discussions when I talk to our CEO and our CISO is, the federal government says we got to respond within 24 hours. We don't need to know what happened. We need to say something looks funny. But then after that, we got so many hours to get somebody on site.
Yeah. Let me tell you, man, when I was with Mandy, we were selling a retainer. And it was a big ticket item where we would be on the plane within 24 hours of your breach.
So
that's big.
Yeah, let me read a couple more of these slides real quick. So once again, that's a deploy, like we talked about. Commit, you're gonna deploy it. QA staging, like me and Gabe talk about. Sometimes developers have too many powers in staging and QA. We know they're trying to get done, but if they ever get phished, they got admin on those boxes. So it's like they're going to take the box. Then 9 times out of 10, most people copy production in QA and staging, which pisses me off, right? They don't want to create new data. So they actually have production data in QA. So if we get hit in QA, that's like us getting hit in production, right? So the AWS Code Artifact is a fully managed artifact repository. Makes it easy in organization to securely store or publish software packages. Code artifacts can be figured to automatically fetch software packages, dependencies. Code artifacts works commonly with the package system. The big ones are Maven, Gradle, NPM, Yarn. So when I do Java, if I'm using a certain piece of Java, it's going to have dependencies in other packages, and it's going to bring them together, right, to make sure I have an updated fashion. But part of this is when it brings those two, are you SolarWinds? Are those open source packages been hacked? We need to scan them and make sure they're good before we deploy them out the rest of them. But the code artifact is where you put your code, your packages into your dependency. All right. So once again, we talk about the code pipeline. We don't want to be SolarWinds and, getting our clients hacked. So that's kind of it at it. You got the repositories with the dependencies, goes into the code artifact. You got multiple repositories. Right. Then once again, the developers pulling in applications and dependencies to do their apps. Then they put, like we talked about in the code build, then the build and the pipeline is going to release those into production. Right. So that's the pipeline. That's what we're talking about securing. Right. A lot of people don't think about that because it's on-prem. But Gabe just said stuff. A lot of stuff on your flat network, if it's not secure, it can be hacked. Right. And that's what SolarWinds did. They stuck something in there, and then they got their code and command and pulled that in on their clients, and they were just hacking the whole United States, right? So CodeStar is similar, develop and build, provides a unified interface, enabling easily manage your software. The difference to this CodeStar a lot of times is used for COTS packages. I got the whole package in there. I don't have any custom stuff, right? So I got the code pack, the COTS package, custom off the shelf, right? Something we buy. Right, the vendor did it all. We don't have anything, so we would keep it in there, right? Because the vendor's giving us updates and stuff to put out there, right? And we want to take those updates and those patches and test them first before we put them into production. And one, we want to make sure they're right. And two is we still want to code scan them from a security perspective. We might find some and push back on the vendor and say, hey, is this what you meant for this package to do? Right. Then we're going to talk about some of the big things: continuous integration, continuous delivery, microservice, infrastructure code, monitoring, logging, right? So just a couple more things inside that DevOps package. Let's look at some of the things. Preach, bro. Shout out. Let's see. Security Onion. Explain Security Onion, Gabe. I'm going to let you handle Security Onion.
Yeah, so Security Onion is a free and open source Linux distribution for defensive cybersecurity. So it comes with things like the Elk Stack, right? Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. That's something that you can use to ingest logs and to monitor and to put in alerts. It also comes with things like Splunk, but like the free version, it comes with intrusion detection system things, and comes with Wireshark for packet analysis. So it's kind of pretty much a defensive cybersecurity distribution. Think of Security Onion as the equivalent of Kali Linux, but on the defensive side. Kali is for offensive security. Security Onion is for defensive security.
Yeah,
the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I've done very little Security Onion. Shout out to him for passing that Azure 900. I got to do more in Azure. I got to get my AWS. Chess is great for practicing mitigating attacks in terms of improving tactical prowess. It teaches discipline, strategy, all important. No, facts. I love chess. It just gets you thinking, like you said, from that, just logically too, right? And two is you trying to think ahead of time, like you trying to figure out what the hacker's gonna do. So, social and data, social engineering, dating someone with Intel. Yeah, that's true. I think you probably see that more on movies. You ever done that? You got anything on that, Gabe? I guess you dating somebody at work and you pumping them from Intel. I've only seen that on movies.
Well, it's wild, man. So like I met my wife on Facebook. So we had ran into each other while we were in college, just kind of in passing. We had a lot of the same friends, but I met her on Facebook. And once we would start talking, yeah, I did a little bit of social engineering. I tried to figure out who she was. I saw she played volleyball in high school, and I saw what school she went to. I saw she was a nurse. So, I did my little social engineering. I tried to see what she was about. So,
Facts. I tell you, the weird thing is people never think about, your thought pattern on that is, I tell people 9 times out of 10 is, if I know where you work, I can look on LinkedIn, and most people usually put their job role and the technologies they're using. Then the other part of that, especially for big government stuff, when they win something, the vendor posts that they won it from that agency. So if I put those two together, I can kind of figure out what your architecture is and how to start doing some reconnaissance to attack you. What's your thought on that, okay?
Yes. I use that all the time. So say, for instance, I'm like in an environment. So like we were talking about Active Directory. So I'm in an Active Directory environment. I start finding users. I start finding email addresses. Then I'm taking those and I'm throwing those on the internet and scraping the web for information about what their capabilities are. So if they got a whole bunch of Cisco certs, I know that this is probably a Cisco shop, right? And so now I'm looking for vulnerabilities. I'm scanning inside the organization for different Cisco infrastructure. I'm getting in default username and credentials to certain switches, routers, and all types of stuff just to get ready to compromise. So yes, LinkedIn, people got internet like websites and everything. So yeah, man.
I love when people ask for help on Reddit. Then they put the version number of the product. I'm like, dude, I'm like, you setting yourself up on me. I'm like, dude. I'm like, you're not up to date. I could just Google all the CVEs for that version.
Agreed. Yeah. You don't even have to so that's like what you call passive reconnaissance. So you don't have to do active, like you don't have to send a phishing email. You don't have to try to log into or hack their LinkedIn account. You don't have to do any of that. You could just passively use open source information or open source intelligence to find out about that information or that individual. So yeah, man. Yeah. It makes hacking easier. Makes it a lot easier.
You correct, Eric. CISP. I probably next year I probably study for the CISP. like I said, I've been in the game so long, nobody's ever asked me for it. So, so I think short and cool, 125 questions. I'm sure one time somebody's gonna ask me for it. I don't have it. Like I said, I just been in the game for long. People invite me to work for them. So, Polyman, what is the AWS Ed link? I'm gonna let Erica send him the education link. Tim Timmy McVeigh. Oh yeah, we talking about the Oklahoma bombing perspective with the fertilizer. That was Tim McVeigh. Yeah. What year was that game over? I'm thinking I want to say that's in the 90s. Maybe I got to look that up real quick. That's could be in the 90s.
Right back. I'm getting another phone call. 1 second.
That's cool. You good? What up? You about to visit me by Googling? Facts. You are correct. I did Google the. You're right. I could see that happening. I'm on somebody's watch list. Oh wow, that was 1995. I'm old scientist. I remember that like it was yesterday. So, speaking goes to fun. It depends on how good you are. Minimum question. I might test in 104. Yeah, I need to get back on it. I should have took it again when I just didn't miss it by like 6 questions. We need to put some of our black men in. Facts. I used to work in facts on a man trap. Man, I was super impressed with the man trap. I've only seen 2 in real life. I was learning from what happened in 95. Oh, facts. We did learn a lot from McVeigh. Man trap for data center I used to work in. Yeah, those are usually big companies, man. They don't have man traps for the NYC subway out people in the man trap. Okay. Facts. That's what it was. 1995, man. I could be forgetting how old I am sometimes. I be forgetting the Brand Vince Pennyback. Facts on the piggyback. Facts. It's probably renaming person trap. Facts. We got to be politically correct. Agam only needs to be Agam. Let's see. Let's connect on facts. Facts. They're here to learn. Shout out to my man, Kev Tech. Salute. Yeah, I guess I forgot that Oklahoma City was 1995. So yeah, that's really got the government in far as cybersecurity from a physical perspective, where trucks can go, who are you gonna let park in front of buildings, right? And 2 is they're tracking how much fertilizer people are selling for certain things. If that doesn't fit your MO, you're gonna come up on a report. For the people, IRS lawyers. Yeah, I talk to a lot of IRS lawyers. I do. One of my clients reports to the IRS. So it's called IRS Publication 1075 is the security compliance for how to lock down a system taking tax information. Facts, it was on the man trap was on the CISP. Yep, facts on the cameras. Capital One, true. Yep, facts on the Google Dart. You think it would be a little harder than that, JM, to get that on the Capital One. Yep, shout out to Capital One. Got to lock it down. That's the cool thing, too, a part of AWS now. The Capital One database was up. It's called AWS Advisor. I think it's free. When you click on it, Advise, it tells you every subnet that you have open. And if it's a database, it highlights it in red that says, this is a huge security issue. Your database is opening up to the internet and not on a private subnet. So AWS is learning from its customers' mistakes and trying to lock those down too. So let's see. What's in your wallet? Not a damn thing. What's in your wallet is your customer database. You let out RFID protection better than that than a wallet. Facts on RFID. Yeah, I know Gabe said he can clone that. Facts, I do remember that with Samuel. Wasn't Chuck with him on that? I love animals more. People I'm playing on you. Facts. My man, brother Michael in the house. Oh, I appreciate it. That's why I like to bring Gabe up, man. He's Definitely one of the top guys, especially in the space. We need to so we just, trying to chop it up. So let me read the rest of these. Talking about DevOps, continuous integration. DevOps software development practice where a developer regularly merge code changes into a central repository. It automatically gets built and tested. The continuing integration more often refers to the build of integration stage of software release process. Entails both an automation component and not. See, a lot of times too is people don't realize is even if I didn't change the program, if I upgrade my OS, I upgrade my EC2 instance, I start connecting to an upgraded database. I want to run an continuous integration test because even though I didn't change it, the operating system change could stop it. Like we took out the ciphers, and one of the ciphers for Windows 95. Old people were still using it. We took it out of our ciphers on our application. The database still was looking for some reason, right? So we missed that, but the continuous integration change caught that change, even though we didn't change any code. We upgraded the web server and the app server, and that caused the problem. So that's why you want to do continuous integration, even when you're not making any code changes, because hopefully you're patching your system. Part of that is continuous delivery. Same things, automatically build. Expand on continuous integration by deploying all code changes to a test environment, right? Production environment after build. When continuous delivery is implemented properly, developers always have a deployment-ready product artifact to pass to a standardized test, right? So integration is we're testing those with the software. Continuous delivery is we actually going to push it to production, right? To test it, to make sure something else even though it wasn't a code change, something else didn't make that code not right. So that's why you want to have those two. And that's kind of a new thing, right? The cool thing is it's all automated. You don't have to do it, right? Once you get your build set up, right? So we got the continuous integration right there. We're going to plan, code, build, and test. After that test, right? Continuous integration, we're going to compile it, make sure it works, run some tests locally. Then continuous deliveries, right? We're going to push it all the way to production, or QA, which is the environment that looks like production, right? So that's the continuous integration piece and the continuous delivery piece. Once again, we were talking about SolarWinds. SolarWinds got hacked in there. So when they sent it to production, that production piece was going out to other clients that got hacked because they weren't locking down their continuous integration and continuous delivery, right? So that's the part we got to talk about securing now. Like Gabe said, a lot of people get sloppy with that because it's on-prem. It's us. We trust us. That's really not open the internet. But obviously, Gabe said, he hacks on, do phishing. He's on the network. And that's what happened when SolarWinds got hacked and their stuff got
You make me sound like such a bad guy.
No, we need you.
No, right? I know what you mean.
I know what you the bad guy, but you the guy to make sure the stigs are good, right? I could put all that stuff on there and you can hack it in 2 minutes, right? I'm not good.
I got nothing to do with stigs. Nothing in my life is involving. No, I got you.
That's an old
man. I gotta dip down, man. I gotta dip down, man. So yeah, I just wanted to come back and let you know I gotta. Yeah, my food just came. So all right, man. Yeah, thanks for having me up, and I'll try to join the next one or the next one after that, and I'll eventually start streaming, follow you guys along, and then we can just keep on building this community, like you were saying. So yeah,
you put your Gabe put his channel in the chat. Go check out it. Subscribing. Obviously, we're gonna chop it up. He's knowledgeable. Absolutely. I'm gonna be on his channel. I'm sure he's gonna be interviewing, so I'll be on his channel. We be talking about Stig and the ugly part of government in the future. So we'll chop it up. So go subscribe to him.
All right,
man. I'll check you out.
Thanks for having me. See you all later.
Bye-bye. Later, man. So microservices, that's actually breaking a module code up into smaller parts. The reason you do that a lot of times is as you grow, like it's called a monolith application. So I used to do big Java applications where it did accounts payable, accounts receivable, and some other stuff. But if accounts payable starts getting hit a lot, right, the whole application would stop working. Microservices is I make accounts payable its own application. I make accounts receivable its own application. Then I do web service call in between them, right? So if AP start getting hit a lot, I can spin it up on its own EC2, right? If something starts getting more hits, I can split up the application, and one part of the application won't bring down the other part, right? That's why you would split it up and do microservices account. I'm just now liking microservices. The reason why is when you split those up into separate services, now I got to manage them separately, and now I'm doing web service calls between them. So even though I'm on the same server, they're doing web service call and network traffic between them, right? But that's the modern app, and I think that's what everybody's talking about. Once again, from a cybersecurity change, we got to understand how to secure that, right? A microservice app with communication between itself. Right, and we're going to get to this. This is just the general part. There is a part called DevSecOps, and we're going to touch on a little bit of that at the end. But that's securing the DevOps part, more security. But we got to figure out the DevOps before we put the security part on there, right? Yep. Shout out to the version changes. Are there any safe websites for security professionals where you can download a Trojan virus website with the lab environment? Most websites. That was a Gabe question. If you go out and look at OWASP, they have websites, but I don't. They don't do viruses. I think they have a couple of Trojans, because really a Trojan is hiding code. It could be malware or not, but they do have websites that have vulnerabilities for web server, app servers, and database to hit on. I would reach out. His channel is Struggle Security Jam. He does more offensive stuff. I don't do that, Jam, because I'm a blue team guy with defensive. I'm scared if the virus runs amok inside the company or inside my system, I'm gonna be toast. So I don't do that. If you look at it's a PhD name, Simply Cyber. He actually on his channel, he actually deconfigured, took apart malware on his channel, JM. It's called Simply Cyber. He has a PhD in cybersecurity, and he actually takes different malwares and he actually catches the malware and decompiles them to figure out how it works. It's called Simply Cyber. That's something I'm never gonna do, JM. I'm staying in my lane, man. Yep. Shout out to version control. We gotta have the version control in there. Oh yeah, facts. Yep, they do. But two is you gotta, when you have your development team in-house, you gotta do DevOps. You gotta make sure you lock down and make sure it's secure. But KevTech's right. Because financial security, they want to have their own algorithm for stuff, right? So they want that intellectual property kept in-house a lot of times, which so if you look at this is a microservice. If you look at the side, when you do dash service or dash docs or dash service, it takes you to a microservice EC cluster, which is micro containers. Everybody's doing containers, right? So a lot of people in a container life. So that shows you micro container. Also using your Route 53 DNS, register your domain name, then it'll go through your microservices, and run for that, right? One of them is Kubernetes is one of the top containers. So just talk about practicing. Infrastructure as code, right? Using code and software. Cloud API models enable developers and system administrators to act with the infrastructure programmatically, right? So instead of creating your subnets, creating your network control, creating your EC2, right? You can create infrastructure as a code. So when you roll out code to a certain part of the country, you can just click a button and it'll spin up your networking, your VMs, your servers, your microservices. It can all be done in code. So in the old days, you have to build that stuff before and deploy it. Now you could just click a button and build all that up at the same time with the infrastructure, right? So that shows you the template of the infrastructure. They keep it in an S3 bucket, encrypted. Then you can use CloudFormation as part of that, and that builds your whole infrastructure there, right? With your VPCs, your security groups, your networking traffic. Usually, too, is behind there is direct link to your company, right? Because you syncing up stuff between there. So infrastructure code solves an AO problem. Setting up and configure IT resources that was arduous, manual, and error prone. Today, it's possible to define a configuration file, spin up its resources automatically, consistently, and predictability from a file. That's not a word. This can be extremely useful for DevOps, workload management, and other cloud automation, right? So that's the code strategy, right? So you take that template, which is infrastructure as a code, and you can spin up your whole infrastructure, right, and where you want to put it. Right, so that's part of DevOps, and 2 is how do you secure it. I used to fight with the DBA to give me my keys to the city. Yeah, fight to the DBAs. Yeah, so I was a DBA for 5 years. Oh yeah, you gotta have the GUIDs in there, right? I always call the GUIDs the private keys of Java and C#, right? So spin up your GUIDs and how to keep them, right? So you can check them in or spin them up and pull them out when they do it. I'm playing a video on regular expression. That's PowerShell in my flashback. Oh yeah, shout out. I love regular expression. If you look in, I'm an Oracle guy. They actually built regular expression in there. I was actually getting some files from Canada one time, and I was using regular expression because there were some hidden characters in there I couldn't see. So I was using regular expression to figure out where these hidden characters was and why I couldn't figure out this file. Long story short, because I worked on it for 5 hours to figure out there was a French umlaut in there, and the database couldn't take a French umlaut, but I couldn't see it in the file. So I had to use regular expression and dump it in ASCII to be able to see the umlaut. Something I'll never forget. So I worked on that for 5 hours, man. So yeah, do that. I'll definitely come and check that out. That is powerful, man. A lot of people don't even know what that is. Like I said, our program is so long. Shout out to Kim. Good luck on that, man. I'm studying for my AWS and I'm struggling, but I do a couple videos, Kev Tech and CyberSecurity. I'll be ready to go to bed. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I didn't slow down. I ain't took a break, Cyber Scientist. I just slowed down a little bit, going to study for net pen. Oh yeah, those are great, especially if you're on an offensive team. I like the pen test and the like Net Plus. Like I said, networking, especially from a cybersecurity perspective, is definitely needed. I was bring myself time for more videos, working on the course too. Shout out to Kev Tech on the grind. Not a Friday. It was an organization called Mandiant. Somebody said Friday. Yeah. Mandiant is the top I think the top cybersecurity company on the planet. I dealt with them a little bit with the big agency I work for. That's cool. It might be a little cheaper. I know Seattle's like crazy expensive. I'm sick, got better now. New job, new time. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better, Kev Tech. I mean, it helped me out to stream so we can see what happened. Shout out with Suggle. She's not gonna stream. So let's see. Yeah, we talked about that. Infrastructure to code. Oh, monitoring, logging. Anything you do in DevOps and build, you want to monitor and logging. That way you can take the metrics of it. Part of the monitoring, if it logs, and when you run tests, if it works right. Part of the test too is when you move files around or do ping test or whatever, you should actually have milliseconds that come part of your test, so you know your networking is running right. Because if you don't configure your test right, you could be getting suboptimal networking speed. So that should be part of your monitoring logging. Increased communication among organizations is one of the key culture among DevOps. DevOps tooling and automation of the software delivery process. Establish collaboration by physically bringing together workflows and responsibilities of development and operations. Communication across developers, operation, other teams like marketing and sales. So when you use DevOps, a lot of times is because it's short development, because it's microservices, you can test it easier and you get feedback to the user or the customer if this is really the requirement they want or if this really how they wanted the product to work. In the waterfall, you used to have to wait 3 or 4 months before they can see stuff, but with the automation of the build and how quickly you can turn it around, right, you could get that back, right? So it's talking about the cloud formation, the Lambda, right, to run a bucket, an S3 bucket. So you can code or push the code in S3 bucket. The pipeline pushes it. Static code analysis, like we talked about. Once you build a code, we're looking for SQL injection, coding style, malware, vulnerability, or virus, right? So in that static stage, before we commit, we can actually look for that, right? That's part of this security group of what we're going to run. Once again, we do the validation of it with tests, approve the test stack, right? Do that. And the part of that stage, once again, is automation. We run all the tests to make sure the code is what we want it. Then we actually push it out to production, right? So the static code analysis is part of the security of it, right? Coding style, what's in it, what are you looking for? You can actually look for malware if you have dynamic. I think the next one's dynamic. So that's where you can do your security check at that commit stage, right? And that's where you want to do it, right? So once again, this is infrastructure as a code, fundamental principles of DevOps to test infrastructure, right? So you got that stack we looked at. Comes to template stack, route file through. And you can just build our lists with your template work stack, right? With your cloud formation, and just build your web server, your app server, your elastic load balance, what database you want to use in the back. All that's infrastructure as a code where you can build to. So if you're selling something to the customer, you can sell that, have all that all together, and use that infrastructure as a code, give it to it. Your customer hits the button, and all that stuff is built and ready to run, right? And that's kind of what you wanted to do. So let's see there. Yeah, get the Gabe channel. It's going to be excellent. I've checked a couple of his videos out. He's rolling. I appreciate that, Erica. And our service with the SIS provided free of charge. I don't know that. I'll have to research that. People are scared to have me on their channel. I've been hanging with the phone tech community. When I start talking code, they start joking me. Oh man, well, I have to get you on my channel. I come to your channel, man. Like I said, I've been coding for 30 years. Like I said, I started off with Micro Focus COBOL. Then I went to Oracle Forms and Report. Then I went to Java for a while. Then I did a little Python backend for automation for Apache and Tomcat. So I'm usually Java, Oracle, and Spring Hibernate framework. So no, I'm not scared of the tech. Programming is cool. So Kareem, let's see. If you and your guests ever have a level 4 CGIS awareness training or training? I'm actually working with a small vendor on CGIS. I've had a little training, not level 4, because the agency I work with gives information to state police, and state police reports to the FBI, Kareem. But I've done CGIS work as far as hardening their computers to pass a CGIS audit. I've actually did if you look on my channel, I actually did a compliance on CGIS. I did that, Kareem. I did a compliance video on CGIS. So, like I said, I've done that from a computer perspective. Yep. When we do contracts, we got to make sure we know what we're getting. We stress it a lot in SLA in the service for. Yeah, you got to have those so you know what you can sign up for. Fax Dev 2. Oh, yeah, facts on the C-level, folks. Man. That's what they want to know. I saw many offering some internships for junior pen testers. Are they difficult to obtain, or are they mostly looking for people with Ivy League schools? I'm going to let Gabe answer that in the chat, JM. He's still in the chat. Shout out to Gabe. Let's see what Gabe says. I'm not even going to lie. Man, this red team and penetration is world renowned. It's difficult to get into for sure, JM. Yeah, facts. Like I said, they the best on the planet to me. I'm working from home. I want to get a job at Microsoft or something like that. Seattle, I need a new job after I offset the cost of living. I'm working from home at IBM. Yeah, shout out to IBM. Let's see, I'll get back to the rest of these sites. Finance that 30 minutes respond for tickets. Okay. SLAM from the work standpoint. Right, Cots. I got to do a better job of keeping up with my chat. Tell the CEO to make it take facts. I used to handle high value people too. They don't do tickets. Oh, facts, man. Shout out to the security onion. I did it. I've done it a little. I haven't done it a lot. So that's why I had Gabe trying to know. I do more Cali stuff because it's more defensive. What did I do with that? I lost my. So yeah, let me. I found my place on the chat, man. I'm struggling. Might skip a few. Oh no, I saw that. Let me go to the rest of these slides while I'm struggling. I hit something. So this is another build. CDI. Beanstalk is their pre-built for PHP web servers. It's running on top of Apache. So if you do your deploy, you can deploy right to Beanstalk, and Beanstalk will hook you to a database. So you don't have to do any of that extra build stuff. Beanstalk is pre-built for you. That's why I put that out there. We just talked about the code analysis and dependency and vulnerability scan. Hashing, like we talked about, is I hash it. Then when I put it into the code pipeline, the hash lets them know that I did it because it has my hash key on it, right? So that's security in the pipeline. Once again, static analysis tool. So that for Cloud9 is just a test lab. So you take the source out, you can exploit the fits, and once again do static analysis, meaning just look to your code. There it is again, just to make sure it's done a certain way, looking for certain vulnerability. Some of it could be style, some of it could be looking at memory leaks inside your application, right? Which is not particularly a cybersecurity issue, but it is an availability issue, right? So those are just different builds in there. So this is once again the AWS code build, code commit, code deploy, AWS Lambda, code pipeline. So this is just it in a large core organization, what it would look like, right? It's got 1, commit the code, 2, S3 bucket. Those are the scanners down there. 3, right, scans the code. 4, goes up there and builds the code, deploys it, builds it, puts it in test, staging, or production. Up there too, you can have manual approval if you want somebody to sign off on it, right? You got the logs, parameter store, like we said, you want to keep your passwords and keys and directories. You don't want those hard coded in your code. You want those to be up in the parameter store. Just get pulled from that system, right? So that's the DevOps at a high level, right? So once again, this is a STIG check. Shout out to Gabe. It just says application must utilize FIPS validated cryptography modules when signing your application, right? Signing your application means when you put it in production, there has to be a key that it understands before it pushes into production, right? So that's actually a check that the federal government and STIGs make you do before you put your code in production, right? So that's what it is. So let me get back to the rest of these. The rest of my chat that I done lost my place on. Let's see. CL is in the house. I think I'm way behind. I gotta get up there. Oh, there we go. So let's go through there. So that's the check. At my health clinic network, I'm 1 of 3 help desks. Ain't no way we get a ticket every 30 minutes. Shout out to my man Tiny. We work together. Just going live and she come on, Snuggles. I'm about to time you out, Snuggles. If some companies give you 3 days to close a ticket, if the client doesn't get back to you on their ticket. True. Oh yeah, them struggles for that help desk. I'm glad that help desk is a different life, Cash. There's no privacy in America. Facts. Also, the job posting would tell you the kind of technology. Facts. That's how you can, like you said, do live reconnaissance they give you. To even get an internship at Mannion, they'll send you to a vulnerable VM or give you access to a live environment and test your ability to get root in compromised environment. It's difficult, but not impossible. How long you get to do that, Gabe? How long they give you to hack the VM? So, false sense in privacy. Yeah, privacy is really the next bag, but you are correct. LinkedIn is a double-edged sword. Correct. Professor Black Ops, can we get a hookup and do a CISP class? Yeah, we could do that. You asked me before, but yeah, my man actually CL passed the CISP, but yeah, we can definitely do that. Like I said, I probably start doing that probably this summer because I probably start studying for my CISP. Like I said, my man CL got his. Oh yeah, Gabe giving you them gems, JM. It's hard to get in Mandian, but Shout out Mandy is like I said. I think Mandy is the top company. I don't know what Gabe thinks. I think they're number one in the game, man. So I wouldn't be scared. I would apply JM, but hey, you got to go get it. Everybody, if you need Kev Tech, he said add him on LinkedIn, and I'm on his LinkedIn, and that brother be super active. Super active. Yeah, I'm out on LinkedIn too. So once you get a Kev, you get me on LinkedIn. So we definitely collaborate. Shout out to Eric on LinkedIn. Shout out to Kev Tech on LinkedIn. Oh, a lot of facts. I'll be checking your people out on Cyber. That the one you did with the recruiter was excellent, man. I like the gem she was dropping. Her cybersecurity recruiter, Kev Tech had on his channel. She was killing it from that gang. I sent a connect to Erica. That's cool. I need to send one. We're already connected. Kev Tech. Facts. Simply Learn is pretty good. I'll be interesting to listen to. Yeah, I like Simply Learn. They're pretty good. So I'm getting through this. I got to do a better job keeping up with my chat. Shout out. Yep. So once again, if you want to come up, we can chat. I want to say, man, your link is gone. Okay. Let me put that back in there then. I'm late. Next time I'll make sure I pin the link to the top of the chat. So I put it in there. There it is. That's probably way at the bottom. So I put the link at the bottom. I know I'm late. Everybody checking in on LinkedIn. That's cool. Check with Gabe on that. Gabe's in the check. Gabe, I've never even heard of that virus. Like I said, I don't do a ton of virus, so. Okay, Brent, I've heard of that. I've just never heard of that particular virus. Like I said, I don't do a lot with viruses. I'll look into it. Did you safely down? Okay. That's JM talking about that. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never, like I said, if you look at Simply Cyber, he decompiles viruses and malware. That's just something. Cyber scientist, check out Simply Cyber. He's a cool dude. I kind of check him out. He does this morning thing. Free AWS training, explore them. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Thanks, Erica. Dropping out free. Oh, there she is on there. I'm late. How are you doing?
Hi.
You doing okay?
I am.
What can I do for you?
How you doing? I think I'm gonna have to stop something. Hold on.
You got me in the background. You just gotta mute me on your YouTube channel.
Hello?
Hello?
There we go.
Yeah, you just had me running YouTube. How are you doing?
Well, I didn't want anything. I just said, let me stop and say hi to the black man.
That's cool. I responded to one of your comments and I put my email on it.
Whoa.
So, because you said you couldn't get at me, so I don't know if we had a
miscommunication. I can't. I'm going to send you an email, another email.
Yeah, do that.
That's what's up.
So we can
I like your show today. Today was good.
I appreciate it, especially when Gabe come on. He's super knowledgeable, so I'm sure I'm going to have you up there. So, we're going to be chopping it up on some subjects.
You have all the smart people come on, all the black people come on your channel. That's what's up.
I'll be trying. I try to get him here, Shout out to Kev Tech. He gave me a shout out. He got 22,000, so he helped me grow a little bit so I can meet those people. So got to give a shout out to my man Kev Tech.
That's what's up. Well, I didn't want anything at all. Okay. I didn't want to stop your class either. I just said, cool. Let me say hi.
Nah, nice meeting you. And I'm sure I'm gonna interview you because March is March is Women History. So I'm trying to interview, which is easy, 10 dope black females. So I'm passing the mic in March to the women. So I'm gonna have to reach out to you and get you on my show. That's what I'm doing in March.
That's what's up. I might have to learn something before then.
You got it. You got all the search.
I don't know too much.
So you got all the search. So I'm gonna reach out to you. Like I said, I'm passing the mic to all the black women in March. So we're gonna make that happen.
I like it. Okay, cool.
Thanks for coming up.
No problem. Let me figure out how to leave you alone.
I think you just close it. It'll shut down. Microsoft. I can see Microsoft buying Mandiant Helmet. Easy. That's pocket change for them. So yeah, I can see that. I got to do a better job for sure, but let me know when you want to jump on. Okay, that's cool. Let me make sure that a lot of time computers on. I got to keep up with my chat a little better. Shout out to y'all for hanging in with me. Like I said, too much going on in the chat. The chat's fire, man. Shout out to the chat. I got to do a better job. Where they're asking for PayPal's a form to pay them back since crypto wasn't very common? Oh, that's a good question. Probably. I mean, because crypto was just really hit the mainstream. They were asking for mail ransomware. Okay. I see 2 tests by okay. Man, I gotta do a better job. Shout out to my man Cisco V in the house. Like the new YouTube. Thanks, man. I'm trying to stop struggle streaming so much. I'm trying to make it. Simply Learn want you to convert to pay. Facts. They do. Shout out to my man. Keep It Techie came in. Salute Black Power Activate. Trying. Just try to pass the mic, man. Just pass the mic to some different people, man. So I wanted to March. I was just gonna. I got like 10 fire Black women that's coming on the channel. So chat going crazy. I've made it to the end. I'm done. Shout out to Keep It Techie. I definitely want to give him a shout out, man. When I was growing, he brought me on his channel a couple too. So he definitely helped me grow. So I definitely want to always give my shout out to Keep It Techie. And, I collab with everybody and anybody, but Keep It Techie had a little size and he let little old me come on the channel, man. So I definitely appreciate that, man. Let Professor Black Ops pontificate a little bit. So I was happy, man. Everybody enjoys the Super Bowl, man. I finally got to the end of my channel. Yes, so I'm done. I'm shutting it down, man. I've been up for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm hitting this AWS hard, so I'm gonna do a couple more AWSs. Then I think I'm gonna move my AWS to Thursday, and I'm doing forensics, introduction to forensics analysis from a computer perspective. Like we talked about, how to look through the logs. If somebody deletes the file and just remove the pointers, right? The file's still there. You can go out and pull that information out. The information's not gone, right? Oh, yeah. Shout out to Keep It Techie. He had a course. I shared it. Everybody go check out the Keep It Techie's course. I looked at the first one a little bit. I need to dig into that. That's a great Linux course, and I think Linux is definitely a starter to get in cybersecurity. I only really do Linux. I do Microsoft begrudgingly, but anything on the server, I try to definitely be on Linux. Yeah, shout out to Keep It Techie killing that course. How can I access the course? I think it's free. Go to his YouTube channel. Keep It Techie, you got the link to your course? Keep It Techie, drop the link to your first Linux course. Put it in the chat. Are you a moderator? Let me see if I make Keep It Techie a moderator. Keep It Techie. Oh yeah, Keep It Techie moderator. Drop your course in there real quick. Keep It Techie for your first Linux one. I share. Well, too, if you go to my my post, I forgot what my community tab. It's on my community tab. Yeah, go check on my community tab. I got a Keep It Techie course on my community tab. I'm pretty sure I shared it. So yeah, so I think, let's see. Keep It Techie. There it is. Thanks, Kev Tech on it. I'm struggling. I'm tired. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. Like I said, we're gonna do a couple more AWS courses and we're gonna switch on over to intro to forensics. But I'm also gonna do AWS probably on Thursday. Pick a time and do that. Thanks for joining me. ProfessorBlackOps@gmail.com if you need to reach out to me. Sometimes I'm a little slow, and if I don't get back, always hit me up. I'm not ignoring you. Sometimes I'm not as organized as I'm supposed to be. Sometimes where are you gonna use to just start? Start it. So shout out to Snuggles. So Zen Zeus. Yeah, I'm into the stream. Kevin Lopez, I'm into the stream. Shout out, I'm done, man. I'm excited about the it's true. It's intro. I've actually taught it in real life. It's super beginning, but I think it's a nice start to get your foot in the toe, get your toe in the water. That's why I wanted to touch a few things in cybersecurity, so everybody can see a different perspective in that cybersecurity world. So once again, I appreciate it. Shout out to that Ubuntu. Even though I'm more a redhead guy, Keep It Techie guy to set up for everything on his channel, man. Keep It Techie guy to set up for everything, man. Yeah, guys. I'm out, y'all. I'm gonna shut it down. Just about to come on next time. Okay, Snuggles. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Thanks for joining me. Everybody join the Super Bowl. Let's about to come on. We're gonna take a little break. This be wearing an old guy.